Cheryl?
Good morning, it's 9 a.m. and we are here for consent agenda review and work session. Barb, do we know how long the work session needs?
Depends on when Mandy gets here and to discuss the budget extension email.
Did you have any questions on the consent agenda? No, to us. I didn't. I looked over. Cindy's backstage. Did we have any concern on the contract? The one with Really Creative. Talking about that the other day. What do we do about that?
Yeah, none of these are good stuff.
And her comment was she's not going to estimate anything for current
Essentially,
expense.
it kind of is month to month, but I
So
think
no
if we
budget
just
extension
pass
for
it
current
through,
expense
we're
then,
not
I guess.
gonna cancel it.
How hard to spend 16 million in 2 months.
Did you let them know that legal had no issues? And nobody said anything?
Excuse me.
What's the 11 a.m. commissioner meeting?
That is your commissioners meeting.
Oh, like the day, like weekly?
Yes.
Are we in the department heads at 1 to 3?
So the first 30 minutes you talk with HR and then the second half the staff comes in. And they
Who
should have,
is it?
it's Swahil and Dell.
Oh.
You should have gotten their information, hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't think that we were going to be reviewing them. I don't know, I don't like this one, so we'll see how the votes go today.
An issue. Is there a way to make a copy down here? Our copier jammed right as I was printing a report for you guys.
Did you have any concern with
It's
that?
two-sided.
I probably have to email it to one of them.
Thank you.
Copy it.
I don't think so.
Or you got, she's just making a copy.
This, oh, it looks like you have, I made an update for more construction fund.
Okay, so this is the. What would I need?
On the tourism advisory committee, you guys, I'm assuming you guys put out vacancies or
They didn't this time.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
I know, Friday 13.
I think it's good to do.
Well, we haven't,
Opportunity.
he said he's gonna process 3 here soon. But
3
5 to
years.
18.
Um,
So we must have an extra one in there.
I don't know, probably.
First.
Sorry, I couldn't be smarter than the copier today. I had to go to another.
That's
We
super
couldn't
too.
either. Get ours to work.
Yeah,
It
so-
had a jam stash
Pretty
somewhere.
exciting.
I found it and then just said it.
Oh, there was a bat.
Are they not
Yeah,
using
they
it
should all be
anymore?
double.
Oh, okay, oh, it's,
Hopefully they're all
it's,
double sided.
okay, it's 13.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's online if you want to.
This is just the complete list without the ones that don't need a budget session.
Where would it came out of the chamber building there in Midway?
I don't know, let me just ask him. Yeah, okay. Hey, Jim, will you give a quick overview of your surplus items?
Sure. We're just trying to clean up the place. Is there a specific one you're learning about?
So we were just curious on your beverage cooler, your keg cooler.
Yeah, so some of those things, the keg cooler has been in the bar building for quite a while. I believe it was probably left from when the chamber had that, but I asked Debbie and it is ours. Probably back maybe even, I don't know if the Knights of Columbus had it. The big old refrigerator's been in there for as long as I've been here, and nobody seems to know where it came from or anything. We don't use either of those for the bar. Everything's iced down instead of put in refrigeration. We also have the there's an old trailer there that we don't need anymore. The two old swathers, we had long-term plans to stick those out on the grounds, but honestly, as we kind of clean up the place, they just need to go. The two big gate panels are the ones I mentioned to Tom, and it sounds like Kevin's going to look at one of those possibly for Wheeler. And then what every man cave should have is a phone booth.
I still don't know how you ended up with that thing.
I think it must have been at one of the gates at one time because it's got concrete on the bottom, so somebody cut it out from somewhere around the grounds. Hey, they're going on eBay according to Chris Turner for big bucks, so we'll see.
I'll try shipping that one with.
And then the last is a rock rake we got from Public Works. We actually got another one of their surplus ones that's in better shape this year, so we're going ahead and surplusing the one that they got us a couple years ago, which is we use those pretty regularly.
All right, thanks, Jim.
That question.
Do the Cellbrite licenses run out or do they go forever? It's like you buy 40, they go forever.
For renewals? No, I think there's a renewal on those. For
So- You talk about the one that's on the consent,
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah.
So what those are is they're not really licenses, they are unlocks.
Yeah, to be able to download.
Yeah, so each time we need to break into a phone,
Yeah, use it.
we use one.
That's what I'm saying, like, does the license last past
No, it
whenever
does,
it expires, the 1-year term?
yeah, it expires.
Oh, that's,
In talking to the forensic examiners, the 40 unlocks would be just a little bit over what we've currently done so far this year. And reason for that right there is so that we can continue to keep doing unlocks. If we went less than 40, we're probably not going to have enough based on what we did in 2025.
they don't let you buy them one at a time?
No.
What's public records do, Tom?
I'll probably recognize it.
What do you mean by how, what's public records?
Well, they do uploads off phones also, unlocks.
Do they do that in conjunction with you and Cellbrite? I don't know how they're doing it.
I'm not aware of the public records. They'd need a court order to break into a phone.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd have to get a subpoena.
So they can only do it if you give them permission.
Yeah.
And you're doing it by unlock.
Yeah, we're doing it like a criminal case where we've seized a phone for a search warrant.
You should say, listen, we'll give you $250, you just unlock this phone.
We try to use, if we think the phone is gonna have biometrics to unlock it, a lot of times we'll ask the judge to grant us biometrics. Then we can just flash the phone in front of the suspect and then it unlocks it for us. But that's kind of a case-by-case independent, based on the suspect and the particular judge that we're getting the warrant from.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
You bet.
All right, we can move on to this next one, which has budget. So we have two papers that look the same, different numbers on both, of course. So which one are we going off of?
The shorter table is an update to the one you might have received earlier to have the morgue construction fund. That was missing,
Or construction?
314. That should be the only difference between those two tables. The bigger, longer form is the actual everything where these were pulled from that for all of the funds. So it includes the ones that aren't expected to go over budget.
Numbers match, so I don't know where the comment came from.
He's had two of these. Matt has the 314.
Is that one right there?
Because I sent this to Barb and I made this update.
This was mine. Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah. Yeah, because the one I've got an email is not this, yeah, I've got the. Yeah,
With
that's
the
it.
red, okay.
I'm with you now.
So yours had the red. Mine had the red.
This is new.
The red one's a new one.
This one.
This sheet.
New one goes
There it is right there. Okay, sorry. Commissioners, I asked accounting to come in so that you would see what the year-end budget extension is going to look like, so that you were not surprised when you see it in the newspaper.
Mandy, can I ask you some questions about this? So like, just as an example, the eShare account, you sent the email saying that we're 10,000. We need 11,000 for that account.
No, remember we transferred money?
Right.
That was a transaction that we didn't budget for.
This
And
one
we-
we're gonna see in the newspaper?
We need to technically budget for it.
We need to what?
We need to technically budget for it.
This one?
The small one, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Why would we need a $11,000
That's why I
budget
wanted
extension
to.
on an account that has
$354.
$100,010, $110,000?
We budgeted nothing for that
You
fund.
have
It was a
to
new
tell
fund.
us,
Okay.
explain that to us.
So we didn't budget any transactions. So the transaction we did, we need to budget for it officially.
So I just want to make sure, that's why we were here, is because I took it as you were showing us that we're gonna be short money.
No.
And I'm like, we're not.
No, it has nothing to do with your
Just the
fund balance.
budget.
So.
It's
Okay.
technically
It's just the
authorizing
budget.
the amount to move from the fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there was never a budget made, then we shouldn't have spent the cent out
So
of it.
with the 109,
Yes.
same thing.
Same.
That one was already there.
Budgeted,
Yeah.
so you have to do.
I'm estimating to be over. So if you want to go through the detail of it, we can.
And
Yeah.
then what about the 142, which is the boat one?
Same.
You're estimating it to be over?
Well, not over the fund balance, but over what we budgeted for the year. So right here.
That's right, that's correct.
So 142 is an example, we only budgeted
You got a short note.
So this is how much,
Because that boat.
Oh, because they created.
It's 100
so, oh, sorry, we budgeted 36,000 and we spent
She was gonna talk to him.
to date 125,000. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're over by that 92,000. And then just to be high, I bumped everything up in case there's some small thing that
The
we
ones
have.
you'd be taking out would be like.
So that's the budget center for that one,
Fair.
for 142.
Sorry.
And similarly with 109, we budgeted 190,000. Actuals was 364,000. Is that something you can go on with?
Expenditure wise, for the 109, I know we have a running balance, but you're just talking
The total out.
just the the amount that
Oh, yes.
was budgeted versus not.
Last year's
balance in the
budget
fund.
extension
Yeah,
was
nothing to fund balance.
$3,863,000.
It's not how much money you have in your account, it's what was
3,000,000.
budgeted was 190,
863.
and you guys
Yep.
spent closer to 300-something thousand. Does
3,000,000.
that sound accurate? We can go
Yeah.
through that if it doesn't, okay.
Does that sound accurate?
$863,000.
No, that's why I got Donna here, because she keeps a track of these
Three
numbers.
million, eight hundred and
I want to
sixty-three
be clear.
thousand, 400.
What this process is.
Yes.
So what is the process what needs to be done with these things?
So, the board will put a notification in the paper identifying these funds and the extension needed. And then they will, in 2 weeks, have a hearing, and if they approve it, they'll approve it. These have already been spent, so they kind of have to. But that's it, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think
It's a
Josh
formality.
did a request to purchase, I believe, on that boat too.
So it should, if you get rid of that, it's $6 million.
So, yeah, it's not the same
6.3
fund,
million,
but
which is still double what it was last year.
projected or expected.
Yeah, the
every
payroll
year.
remit, I need to look into that, because it's an in and out. It's funded by all of the payroll benefits for voluntary life insurance, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if we're technically required to budget that.
So last year, our year-end budget extension was 3,863,000.
And a majority of that was all public works, 3.5 million.
Yeah, so if you get rid of that payroll remittance, this year's year-end budget extension is 6.3 million, still double what it was last year, but certainly not 32
But of course, we
million.
didn't have the morgue in there either.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
so yeah, and the
We'll
morgue is,
Look at what we didn't have last year.
yeah, and the morgue,
The
Now we have a whole different.
the opioid settlement was significant. We didn't have that last year.
Over how much we were
The
supposed to
settlement
spend.
one, we already
What we
did a
budgeted.
budget extension.
And I have that noted that we might have already done that one.
So I sent you that, I sent you those documents, but also, because I'm not sure what these were. Did you see Carrie's email about the budget extensions was for the Blake decision and for a pass-through grant? Not sure what, I'm trying to get the documents up. I don't know what fund those would have come.
192. I didn't see the email, or unless it was a way old email.
No, it came, Barb followed up with it on yesterday, but Carrie sent it last Thursday.
And then the REIT money, so the board approved to use fund balance, but we only put the revenue as the budget, and so that's the increase there.
do you have documents on past year-end budget extensions that show or don't show payroll remittance?
Yes and no. I
Yes,
have
and
them on there and I have them off there. So that's why I'm confused. I can look it up, but I just didn't have time when I sent that out to make sure I met the deadline. I mean, it's conservative to have it if we don't know, but I just need to do a little bit of research to be sure.
And the morgue construction is just the funds are here, it's just bringing it
Yes.
into the budget.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, same with REIT. Those are available funds that were pre-approved to spend. It's just the budget only had what Daryl had estimated to be the new revenue stream for the year. And we already did the extension for the opioid, which I thought we had. I didn't have time to look it up when preparing this. And then I wasn't sure on the new budgets that we created in 2025. I don't think we technically did budgets for those. And so I think we do need to do them for year end. So 107,
This one is- I didn't think we had to do one for that.
that's why I'm
Budget.
not sure. Because I've
Let's go
seen
back
it,
and look.
I
don't think
know,
we
I need to
Technically
check.
have to do one for the remit, but
because it's funded in all the other funds.
But in regards to this sheet, the question would be, do they have money already in their fund to cover it, or do they need money transferred into? the
None of
fund?
this needs money. These are all funded by their fund balances. There's no additional funds required
they
here.
just didn't get budgeted.
So does the fair really have that much money?
Except for the fair, that's the one highlighted in red, that one would require an extra transfer. I'm sorry, the fair is, yes, the exception to that.
And unless there's something.
But I'm estimating
Is
high.
a reason for it being over because of capital, where it doesn't.
The insurance premium is why it's over.
Oh, this will make sense. So in Washington County is using cash basis accounting. Payroll, remittances, taxes, retirement, et cetera, do not automatically require a budget extension as a separate legal step. They must simply be covered by an existing appropriation in the adopted budget for the fund and department.
And it would be as part of 001 and all the other funds, so then we can remove it.
A budget extension is only required if total expenditures in a fund will exceed the legally adopted appropriation, regardless of whether the excess is for payroll or some other cost. That's from the state auditor's office.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but I wasn't 100%, and so I included it on the off chance, but yes, it doesn't sound like it needs to be. The only other question now is whether 192 needs to be on there, is that?
Yes, Blake is 192, and the CDBG is 190. Both of those are missing from this list.
Now, we're over 500,000 more on grant administration in the negative. So hopefully we get some earnings too.
The CDBG, which is the 190, was for 132,000, and the Blake one was $10,700, and that one Blake was for 192. And that was 700 and change.
So do you want to add them to this final list here and then take this part off?
Yeah, I think we will have to, yes.
Okay. So then I can get this to the newspaper today?
Yes.
When you can send that to me? Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah, I have ARPA being under for the year as a whole, and I have grants admin being under for the year as a whole. But I mean, if they think it should have it, then we should include it just in case. And we'll finalize the numbers when we do the extension, the official board approved extension in 2 weeks. Or 2 weeks after the
December 30th?
Yes.
Perfect.
And then to answer one of your earlier questions, Mandy, last year you did not have payroll remits as part of the year-end budget extension, but in 2023 you did. You had payroll remits and other payroll benefits that were part of the year-end. 2022 you had payroll, you had both remits and benefits on 2022 also. I can keep going if you want, but.
No, we determined it didn't need to be there.
I guess that would be based on whether or not it was over that year or not needed to.
Or they just included it, I don't know.
I sent you guys a link.
That
to
was
the search
prior
that I did,
to.
so you can read it yourself.
Yeah, I was just gonna check.
I
on
was
RC,
pretty
but
sure we didn't have to do that one. Just off the top of my mind.
I just wanted to be conservative.
Gary, are all your questions answered? You're good?
I'm good.
Barb, did you have any items on this for us?
Is that how much?
No, I just wanted to
That's
make
what
sure
she said,
that
that
you
there was
knew what I
some
was
change,
going
she
to be
said, that was just the
advertising
amounts
today,
that she
so
said.
in
when
case
she
you had
was
any
talking.
questions on what was going to be going on.
So do we know what
There
on
was
this list is going to be advertised?
From what I understand,
Aye.
she'll be removing opioid and the payroll remits
We do.
and adding grants admin.
And Lake?
I don't think.
Or
it
did that
has
one already
yet.
have one?
It's not due
Yeah,
until
so
January.
CDBG and Blake, I just combined it all together in grants
Right on my
admin.
note here.
So the email that Carrie sent you. And Caitlin, if I remember right, the budget extension for opioid, did that cover the full 470,000? That was less than, I know she was gonna inflate it a little bit.
We'll get to it soon.
It was for
Once we get through everything else.
451,733, which was the amount of the invoice that needed to be paid.
How much?
Oops. So the invoice was 451,733 and your budget extension said that, so we don't know there.
Yeah,
And
because we'd already budgeted
And it's a
some
little
money.
bit.
So we can go and just remove that whole line.
So that again,
You'll be removing
I
that
will
line.
double check that
she covered the- she
it's sufficient
Okay.
and yeah, most likely, yeah.
So
Excuse me,
This
good grief.
463.
Yeah, 190, I don't.
I remember we did the budget extension, the amount of the invoice. I'm not sure what the additional, I don't remember what the additional funds were.
What do you have in yours?
All right, Kevin, you have any questions?
No, I have no further questions.
All right, well, thank you. If you guys will just make sure that the numbers when we do the budget extension are correct, everything should be great. So we will recess and begin our prosecuting attorney office update at 9:30. Thank you. Good morning, it's 9:30 a.m. and we are here for our prosecuting attorney's office update with Trevor Bervet.
Bavir. Bevier would be the French pronunciation. It's been Americanized in that regard. Good morning,
I
Commissioners.
didn't know how you pronounced it. I wanted to acknowledge it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. The first thing I want to touch on this morning is I do not believe that the Commissioners received an updated contract list prior to this update. This was due to my legal assistant being out of the office on a much needed vacation. And so we are working on providing that updated list, and we'll provide that as soon as possible. But that is why there was not a list that was delivered to the Commissioners ahead of this meeting. I can say that we did see kind of an influx of contracts over Thanksgiving time period. So we do have, it seems to ebb and flow and not really a steady stream that's in there. So we're working through turning those up with the holidays, and we'll keep those getting turned around in a timely manner that we have. If there's anything specific, I can address that at this time, but I don't have anything that's jumping out at me as a specific concern other than just the general workflow.
Did you see Jim McKiernan's email this morning, Rob, about Placer AI?
No, but I know all about it. We just need to talk about it.
He was asking if we could go ahead and sign it so you could pay for it.
Well, yeah, but we were short money.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be signing anything when I knew it was short money. But I said, you might have an extra
Oh, okay.
$5,000 somewhere for software.
Okay, let me look, yeah, I'll
But
find
I
out.
think that's what it was. Don't worry, I've only missed like 9 of their emails.
That's okay.
It's right here, I'm reading it. They said they could give a discount basically because, you know,
Yeah.
it was taking so long.
Let me see if,
So we need $2,000.
I'm sure we can find $2,000.
I believe.
Jim's got the rest of it.
Yeah, well, one issue is our LTAC funds. I mean, they're for 2026, so I don't know how it works for spending them in 25.
You can spend them past December 15th.
Oh, after December 15th, you can spend them? Okay.
You just, cause we pay out those by invoice, so
Yeah, the only struggle I guess I have is, we haven't even collected any of that, but we do have money in the fund. So I guess it's probably all right.
I'm asking Joe if he's got it in his 3506, like $2,000.
Okay, yeah, I think it was 2, because we were 7 short.
Yeah.
Between Jim and then what we've requested. Things starting to smooth out with you guys?
I think so. I believe that they've got some interviews for a legal assistant going on at this point in time.
Nice.
I'm not too involved in those, so my contact is ancillary here at this point in time, just with availabilities of other individuals in the office. Whatnot, I can say as far as the civil department that I am primarily assigned to, I think that we are hitting the ground astride and whatnot, getting here in the short time that I have joined the office. As far as that goes, I do think that the majority of the departments that I've been working with have welcomed me in and seem to be having a good relationship, and I hope that those reports are coming back, at least from my perspective, coming back the same and trying to accommodate the best way that we possibly can. Do you have an update on the a minor part of the landfill issue? And again, this is one of the things that being here in a short period of time that I'm coming up to speed on, and as you are all aware, it's been going on for quite a while. But there was a check that we were hanging on to from the city of Ephrata on sending back pending the completion of the use of the engineer services. I understand that that has come to an end, so the process is being of drafting the appropriate correspondence for returning that check to the city of Ephrata is in line right now. If there's further updates on that, we can schedule another meeting, or I can see if Ms. Durbeck from our office is available to come down and answer specific questions, but that's the update here at this point in time. I don't think the correspondence is completed yet, but the process of drafting that correspondence in order to return that check is in place.
I had emails going back and forth this morning with Barb on this. Barb Durbeck, so I've asked them to kind of expedite that a little bit.
That's just a check that's gonna go back to the city for allowing us to use Dave Brent for.
No, it's something different than that. I would suggest if we wanted to get into the details, go into executive session. But
I would concur with Tom in that regard.
if you want. But
I don't know if it's necessary. You're on top of it, right?
Yeah.
You got 30 minutes if you'd like to.
I'm all right.
Okay.
If there's, nothing else, that's what I have here at this point in time, unless there's specific questions that I can answer.
Is there anything you want to talk about in executive session?
We can go in there, at least then you're informed.
I think that's fine.
I'm good with that.
Let me get in there. How long would we like? Take 5 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. What do we want to be under?
Prospective litigation, I guess, or what is it? What would you classify it as? Settlements or?
Ongoing contract, maybe?
Let's take a look. Yeah, let's call it, I think prospective litigation is probably the best fit.
All right, it is 9:37. We'll be going into executive session until 9:42 for litigation RCW 42.30.1101I. We'll be extending executive session until 9:45. It is 9:45. We're out of executive session. Cindy looks like, oh, she's backstage still. You moved her? When?
Just now.
Oh, weird. All right, you have anything else for this meeting?
I do not have anything at this point in time unless there's any other specific questions that I might be able to answer.
Anything for you? No, good. Tom?
Nope, I'm good.
Cindy, do you have any questions?
I have none. Thank you for asking.
Right, we will go into recess then until 10 a.m. when we're back with HR update. Good morning, it's 10 a.m. and we are here for a human resources update. I will now take a moment to ask for public comment. And since we have no listeners in the room, we have one, Carrie Stockton online. Does she have any public comment?
She does not have any public comment.
All right, well then we can proceed.
Okay, we're gonna skip item 2 through 5 as I don't have anything for you today. Item number 6, budget finance. I do have a couple annual leave rollover requests. One is for Tom Gaines in the amount of 61.2 hours. A few of those hours I do believe may be used before
16 probably.
before the end of the year, but in order to roll anything over, we do need to have the board approval to do so. HR recommendation is for that approval. I will pass that up to you for you to read. The second one is for myself. I have approximately 16 hours that I'm asking to roll over for that.
Do we accept requests from others to roll over?
Yes.
Oh.
If department heads, if they have somebody, if they have any, they can put in a request to me. And I do the, historically I have done, or HR director has done the recommendation to the board.
Okay, I just don't want to sign up for you two and not for,
Yep, and.
not for Gina, because she's
And
the
at
low
a CAB
man.
meeting last week, the question was asked and no one had any,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and then I think we were gonna bring up, so the sheriff's office, they can get it paid out, right?
Yes.
Were we gonna talk about maybe doing that for department heads?
Yeah, and part of the conversation that I wanted to know, talking with the other department heads is who struggles with that. And it didn't seem like there were many, just Tom and myself. But really is a lot in the rollover. The expectation has been that the rollover is used within the first quarter of the year, and that's not necessarily always doable, especially when there are major projects happening that you can't get away, which is why Tom and I are both where we're at in our hours of leave. So we do have in some contracts, and even though it's labor contracts, I'm just gonna compare it to that, where we do have a couple contracts where you take so many hours, the employee can take so many hours out of their, I think it's 10 days of the year, and anything over the 240, they can then opt to cash out. One contract puts the money into a VEBA. So it could be beneficial that you're not rolling over the hours, that the hours are cashed out. That way you're not carrying it. The downfall to it is that departments then need to budget for that because you're paying somebody to be there and also paying that cash out. So, but because I didn't get a lot of excitement about it when we talked about it, so I don't think it's really a large issue, but I think that it is a good option. And I would recommend the option of being able to have department heads over that over that 240 to be able to cash out if they aren't able to use the time. I'm attempting to use as much as I can in the next couple of weeks. And again, I've rolled over that 16 hours, which will only happen if I can't use that time if something happens, if I have staff out sick and I need to cover, or if something comes up where I need to be present and on a day that I have planned. So yes, I think that will be an ongoing topic that we will bring back to the board more specifically for that cash out going forward. Unless the board is feeling feisty today and is willing to say, yep, we're all in favor of.
Feeling pretty feisty, but not in that type. More of
Okay.
a absolutely not. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm going to jump in because a lot of times we haven't done that because the employee really should be taking vacation, utilizing the vacation time. Some departments and offices are not able to do that, but it is something that it's kind of more of like for their personal health as well.
Yes.
And their family, I'm sure, appreciates it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why my recommendation would be that the employee or the department head would need to use the 10 days or whatever the board deemed reasonable that within that year. That way they're not, they are doing self-care. There is that requirement to use your time and you can't just cash it all out. So, okay, we will table that one and bring it back for further discussion at another time. The next policy one other thing under budget, finance, and compensation is the treasurer's office does have someone that came to my attention yesterday who has a significant amount of comp time. The policy says that they're only supposed to carry 40 hours. Anything over 40 hours must come to the board for approval to cash out or carry over. This is 143 hours. So I'm not quite sure how this happened.
Who is that? Who has that? What
Out of the treasurer's office. So I do have a question in to Daryl and hope to get some clarification on those hours, plus if the employee is looking to cash out or to carry over, but I wanted to bring that to the board's attention because I anticipate that next week I will be bringing a recommendation one way or the other to you. Okay, 7 and 8, I don't have anything for you today. Item number 9 under policy, we have some policy that we need to get some guidance on. So the first one is outside employment or moonlighting. Currently, our policy is pretty brief. And it doesn't say much about whether an employee can or can't, other than it shouldn't be a conflict of interest within what you do within the county. The recommendation of best practice through Lexipol is to get it in writing. It's very stringent, and really we're wondering if the board is interested in adjusting or modifying the moonlighting policy that we currently have to make it more stringent, or leave it as is. Or if you have any thoughts on the matter. We do have some legal ramifications that the county has had or is still going through based on moonlighting. So food for thought on that one. But we will need some guidance on that. We will pass out the current policy for you so you can see what that is.
But this only applies to our departments.
Our what?
Our departments,
Yes. Well,
so.
no, not necessarily. Again, elected officials can, my understanding is elected officials can choose to adopt our policy, the county policies. They should. It would be in their best interest to, especially when it
Well, it'd be
comes
in
to.
our best interest for them too.
Yes, well, yes.
They
And
don't seem to care one way or the other.
at times that is the perception, yes. We would encourage them to follow county policy. But again, if the board wishes to strengthen that policy,
I struggle on that one because I think it's like to a certain degree. Like I'm 100% for moonlighting. Like if you have your own business and stuff, like I'm all about it. But there's also like a line of like,
yeah. And I felt like the best practices from Lexipol were, and you can disagree with me if you'd like, I thought that they're very stringent. Like the first, I wish I would have brought a copy of it. The first piece of it is that they will get provided in writing what they're doing. The employee will provide in writing what they're doing, where they're moonlighting or what they're doing to moonlight, and get written approval from the department head and or the board. To me, that seems a little intrusive, and maybe that's just me, but.
I think it depends. Can you provide an example of when moonlighting has hurt the county? I mean, other than the obvious thing that happened a couple of years ago, but.
no, still hurting.
Yeah, that is the most.
Yeah, so, I mean.
The biggest one.
You know, before I put in, even knowing that my city council position at Deer Park was gonna be temporary and only for a few months, I still went to the board and asked. I said I was gonna plan on doing this thing. Did they have an issue with it? You know, I was gonna make sure that it didn't interfere. The expectation is when you get hired at the county, that this is your primary place of
Primary
work.
place of
That's where your
employment.
primary focus is. So
Right.
whatever you do shouldn't be interfering in that. But yeah, I'm just trying, other than that, I'm trying to think of other examples. You know, we have other people who run for city council.
Mhm.
I think that that's different though. Moonlighting is like, I'm doing HR work and then I'm going and working for Benton County as a contracted employee doing the same work.
Yeah.
Like that's really what the policy is addressing.
Yeah.
So if you are going to do projects, you also can't do projects over here because it's the same work.
We had somebody on the bridge crew of Public Works that was on contracting business. And he would take vacation so that he could do his projects. Sometimes he took vacation so he could do projects for me here at the county, you know, but he was taking his vacation time, so.
And the sheriff's office has a moonlighting policy through their personnel policies, and it does require the sheriff's approval. And so those letters are in personnel files.
Are they still doing Seattle's Finest?
I believe so. I don't know that there's anybody currently on staff who's doing that. I'd have to
That was
ask.
something I got asked that I didn't know in my deal.
I don't
know.
I think the sheriff told, especially their command staff, that they weren't, he wouldn't be approving those requests.
So if you are interested in strengthening the policy, the current policy, I will bring you or send you a copy of Lexipol's best practice policy and ask you to read that and put in your 2 cents worth of on what you think of that.
Okay.
Kevin?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. Cindy?
Sorry, yes, I can get my mute undone. Yes, I'm good with that. And then Tom, another example would be Public Works. We have several employees, I don't know if they still do, but they used to, when they would do the 410s, they would do their 410s. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they would work for another kind of contracted business. So we really can't tell people what they can do when they're not working for the county.
Yeah, as long as that thing is not interfering with county business and their employment here. Okay. Next item, insurance.
That is,
oh,
okay,
sorry.
so
Yes.
this has come up in another area, but if it is impacting their work, how do you address that? So they are doing a different job. Okay, let's say you work here all day and then you're a waitress all night, right? So you don't get in until 1, 2, we have you at work at 8. So then you're just slow for the first hour or two.
It's performance management.
So just be performance management. We're really good at that, so okay. I was just curious.
Yes.
Thank you.
We were working to improve that.
Yes, we are. We're always improving.
We're always improving. Yes, but it would be performance management.
Okay.
Okay, item, let's see. So insurance premium payments while employee is on leave without pay. So repayment options. And Gina, you're gonna have to help me, remind me of some examples of this one.
Yeah.
Do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. So historically, the county has not required staff who are in leave without pay status to pay back the county their portion of the medical insurance premiums. So the county pays 80%, 85% of the premium, and the employee is responsible for 15%. When an employee goes on FMLA, which is approved leave, or PFML, the county still pays their portion of the premiums. The employee is still responsible for their 15% share. So let's say it's $20. So when somebody goes on leave without pay status, the county isn't able to take that out of their paycheck. And the employee is given a bill every month to say, you owe us $20. Historically, the county doesn't have a collections policy. We don't enforce collections. We don't take it out of people's paychecks when they return to work. And if they don't return to work, we aren't able to recoup it. So historically, the county has just written that off. We do have an opportunity right now through our policies to write that into policy to say, Kevin, if you're going to be out and leave without pay status, you're still responsible for your portion of the premiums, and it will be taken out of your paycheck. That's something we have to discuss with payroll to see if that's something we could do. But with Tyler, it will be accessible to us. And it's definitely our recommendation to do that, to put it into policy so that we are able to recoup those funds. There's a lot of people who are in leave without pay status, and we just don't have a way to get that money back. The easiest way is to do a payroll deduction.
So when they come back to work, then Larissa is, tracking them down and trying to get that payment recouped, but the option is through policy then to have it an automatic deduction taken when they return to work. And now we wouldn't, if the person's been out and they owe a lot, it could be so much per pay period until they get caught up. We don't want employees to suffer, but essentially they are responsible for that. It is a benefit. We pay our portion of the benefit. They also have to be responsible for their portion.
Well, they would normally pay it out of their paycheck anyway, so.
Yeah, right.
It should be recoverable.
Yeah.
Reimbursed.
Currently, that's not part of our payroll policy, so that's why we're looking for the board's guidance and direction on whether you have interest in making that policy.
I would.
Well, and we've been told, or previously we've been told that that's gifting of public funds because that is something that none of the other employees get. So that is something above and beyond. And I thought when they were in status, they leave FMLA or whatever, that they actually have to pay for their own insurance, 100% of it.
It depends, Cindy. So FMLA requires that the employer continue their portion of the premiums, which is 85%. If you're on PFML, so if you have to be out continuously and then you're on PFML, as long as PFML overlaps by 1 day with FMLA, then we have to cover the entire period of time. If somebody runs out of FMLA and PFML and continues to be out, you're right that they go into leave without pay status, and at that point they have a change in work status, which then they're moved to COBRA, and then they can elect to participate but paying the full premium. Our our problem is somebody will say, well, I don't want to get paid by the county, so no deductions are being made for benefits. And then they're out, and they're not paying their portion of the premium, but we're still required to
By federal law.
by state law, and then they don't come back to work, we're never recuperating that money. So I hope that makes sense.
But we want to close that gap. So do I have board direction to work on policy to close that gap? Of course, it will come through for your review, but I don't want to do a bunch of work if you aren't interested in doing that, so bringing it forth. I see heads nodding.
Yep, I would agree.
Thank you. Cindy?
100%.
Yes, we will support you working on it.
Thank you so much. Okay, retirement policy. This has been a topic that has come up a few times this year where retirees or soon to retire are wanting to use their annual leave at the end of their work cycle. So an example might be that they're retiring December 1st, but they want to use and they have 8 weeks of annual leave. They want to use those 8 weeks and then retire. So they would not be here. We would pay them for the 2 months, and then their retirement day would happen. The liability with that is that we are then responsible. Keep in mind that we are continuing medical benefits for that 2 months.
You can't just pay out the 2 months?
We can, and that is what is recommended.
Yeah, I would go
is
with that. I don't like when they stay on.
Is that even if they took an extended vacation and they came back for the 2 weeks, because really that 2 weeks is the time of the transition for an employee, whether the employee is moving on to a different position elsewhere or they're retiring. The 2 weeks that the county asks of them is that transition time for the employer, supervisors, and onboarding staff, or staff who are left behind, right, to help fill in the gaps. When we have seen this happen, it leaves this big gap of time. Other people are having to do the person's work because the work is obviously still there because the person had a job that now no one is doing the work. So other people have to pick it up. So we want to really shore that up in policy as well to make it clear, because a policy isn't clear, and it has been allowed to happen in departments and offices for extended leaves, and then the person doesn't return. There is no transition time, there is no cleanup. And if you can allow an employee to be gone for 2 months, my legitimate question would be do you really need that position? Because somebody's doing the work. Either there wasn't work in the first place or somebody else is having to do the work, and that's not fair to put that extra work on people who already have full-time jobs. So I'd like to clear that up. So do I have guidance from the board on whether we can?
Yeah, I think we need to clean it up because, yeah, it just needs to be across the board, and that should not be allowed. So I'm with you, Decorah.
Thank you, Cindy. Kevin?
I would agree.
Rob?
Yeah, I
Yes.
hate it. It happens all the time. It's annoying.
And
I don't like vacation before they leave either.
Yeah.
Any.
Yeah.
It's annoying when it's like, oh, my last day is, January 1st, but they're on vacation until January 1st, and you can't get a hold of them.
Yeah, that is a perfect example.
It's like,
Another
okay,
example
so
of it,
you're
yeah.
not, you're gone. Oh, so you were gone when you told us you were going on vacation, you're gone. Yeah, it's very hard because then we can't
Yeah, there isn't that transition
Yeah,
time.
so I don't, yeah, no way.
The current policy says that your last, well, when you resign, your last working day is your official termination date. This practice goes contrary to that because we're saying your term date isn't the last day you worked. It's actually going to be January 1st, which is contrary, right? So that's what Decor is talking about is the cleanup. And then currently Lexipol's best practice is to have a minimum of a 2 weeks worked. You can take your extended time off if the department or elected office approves it, but you still have to work that transition period, which Decor is talking about. And so that, all of that information will be reflected in the policy. And are you good if I take the next one?
Yeah, go right ahead.
The last one is the sick leave donation. So historically, the county has a sick leave donation policy that allows for staff who have exhausted all of their accrued time, their FMLA, to get a sick leave donation from anybody in the county. That policy is historical prior to the Paid Family Medical Leave Act that was passed by the state in 2019. And so the question for the board is, do you still want to have this sick leave donation policy? Because really PFML is the alternative to this sick leave policy. Once somebody's exhausted their FMLA, they're using their accrued time and their sick time, then they can apply for the state or apply for the state at the same time, and the state pays you. And so the question for the board is, do you want to continue this sick leave donation practice? Or do away with this policy and rely on the state's program, which is paid, that we all pay into, to support staff who've run out of leave.
Yes, I think since we have the state on board that it's been something for the last 15 years we've been trying to get out of the donation because sometimes it's fair to others, sometimes it's not. So I would like to see it gone, but that's just me.
I think with PFML and PFMLA, I don't think it's necessary myself, but.
I'll go with Cindy.
Okay, we will work on those 4 policies and once prepared, we will bring them for your review or send them for your review and then discuss in meetings. And that is, I think, everything I had for you today. Does the board have anything for HR?
I don't think so. Oh man, is there anything for you, Tom, you'd like to discuss?
I got nothing.
Okay, Cindy, anything for you?
I have nothing. Thank you. Have a great day.
Very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We will go into recess then until 11 o'clock when we're back for our weekly commission meeting. Good morning, it's 11 a.m. and we're here for our weekly commissioners meeting. I will now call the meeting to order and begin with the forum for public comment. 3 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit. Barb, do you have any public comment?
I'm not sure.
Is anyone in the hallway? It looks like Kirsten's out there.
Too many things.
Are you staying in there?
Absolutely.
I think you should do it in front of us, sir. We are in public comment. Hey, where are you going?
It could be public. Nothing bad. I just had to add. I've had to say that several times today.
Public
I am
comment?
terribly sorry for interrupting your.
We have 15 minutes of public comment. We'd love to hear a jingle. It's to all of us, Caitlin.
So if she doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's for all of you.
Come on, Kate.
Come on, Caitlin. Don't be a Grinch.
Come on, Caitlin.
We'll be here with you.
Hey, this will be great YouTube content.
Yes.
Come on, Caitlin.
Call her the Grinch.
Okay, all right, come on.
Okay.
Again,
Caitlin,
sorry for
can
interrupting
you
your
come
commissioner's
sit over
meeting.
here?
No.
We do have one for public comment today.
Yeah, you guys stand over here.
Yes, sir.
You can stand wherever you want.
Welcome back.
Yes, good to hear you. Merry Christmas.
You as well.
Kyle and I were just talking about how in 2021 I was here because of you.
I know, I wanted to bring you back. I saw you out there. I'm like, man, I wonder if he's coming in.
Hi, I am Deputy Justin Roller with the Grand County Sheriff's Office. As you may know, every year we do Shop with a Cop, which is where we take the less fortunate underprivileged children out Christmas shopping so they can have a Christmas this year. Make sure they get fed, they get a warm belly. We send them off with love and support. And part of the fundraising is I do singing Christmas grants. And we were purchasing a Christmas grant this year. And it was left to the dealer's choice, but there's no Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's off the table. Do you have a favorite Christmas song, or you want me just to pick one?
You can pick one.
All right. I appreciate you playing along because there's no intention of any embarrassment. This is for kids. The first Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay. In fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord appeared unto them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them. They were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, fear not, for I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be for all people. For unto you this day in the city of David is born a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Merry Christmas, Caitlin. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Oh, wait, why not Mariah Carey?
Merry Christmas. Are we done recording? Because I'll tell the answer right now.
Yeah.
Well, we are live on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube. If there's any complaints, my name is Garrett Klein. So I did Mariah Carey 2019 for someone down in Freda City Hall. And it sounded like a turkey being strangled. It was awesome.
Oh.
So seeing how we're past Thanksgiving, no Mariah Carey. All right. Thank you all very much.
That was
great.
How do we send you to someone?
My work email and my work cell phone, you actually have my personal cell phone,
Yeah.
are on the Facebook post that Kyle put up last week for the Senior Christmas grant.
Are we out of time or we still have time?
So Shop with the Cop, so what I've decided, no one's called an audible, because anything after a Shop with the Cop will just go into the same account for 2026. I have one on the 21st, I have one on the 25th, it's tentative. I have no problems doing it because this is for the kids. And seeing how we're on YouTube, he doesn't watch, but I'm gonna brag about my Sergeant Jason McDonald. We're on the Alpha Squad because he knows how important this is to me, to help kids, to spread the message. And this is a very altruistic endeavor that I'm on because we're helping kids, but it fills my heart with so much joy and so much love. And if I can say so, my mother used to love watching these things. She's still watching, but she's spending her second Christmas in heaven. So I feel like it keeps her close to me, more so than her actually physically being here. So I will do this as much as possible. No one's asked for one in August, and I mean, Hallmark does Christmas in July, so theoretically, so could I. So that, yes, you can reach out. It's on the Facebook post that Kyle so wonderfully made for us.
Is there a
I'll
donation
print
amount?
$20 per song.
All right.
And I've had people do that. One gentleman who our family's known, I grew up in Soap Lake.
Yep.
Our families have known each other since the beginning of time. He donated $100 for his wife down to the Soap Lake Food Bank today. So
cool.
I just asked for $20 per song.
All right.
You get them $100 to make them go away before seeing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's how we're doing it, yeah.
That's $250.
That's $250. Oh, we have inflation.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Would you be willing to do a group photo, please?
Fine.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you want.
Are we all jumping in?
Yes, you're all jumping in.
Hey.
Yeah, Barb.
So
Hi, Kyle.
Get up there, Barb.
I'm going to the back.
You're in here too.
Oh, no, you're in too.
Yeah, I'm adopted 100% by my mom and dad. Yeah.
Okay, this looks really stiff, so come in closer to each other, kind of, there we go.
There we go.
Hand on the gun.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you.
Again, thank you all very much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Thank
Woohoo.
you.
Okay, then.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, David. All you folks that said hi, please.
Will do.
I missed harassing your dad when I was at dispatch.
Oh, you can still drive by his house and harass him.
You don't count by the same rules when I was at dispatch. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Did your parents do that for you, Caitlin?
All right, Caitlin, will you check if Carrie has anything for public comment? Kirsten is now in here. Do you have any public comment today? Thank you. Should have got you in the picture. Kind of odd one out.
No.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Approve the agenda.
Yeah, it's the agenda. Consent agenda. Agenda. Thanks.
Good. I'll make a motion.
Can you make a motion? I'll second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Agenda is approved. Do we have any correspondence, emails, letters of support, comments, Barbara?
I do not today.
Tom?
Nope.
Caitlin? Kevin? All right. Do we have any roundtable items today?
I do not. It's gonna be a quick one.
Wednesday. There is that meeting, short course local planning. I accepted the invite.
Okay.
Good talk.
Mentally, I didn't remember it. Are you going?
I have a meeting with the fire chief with Fire District 6 at 1 o'clock, and then as soon as I'm done with that, I'll walk over there. Just
So it's in their conference room? Yeah. Are you going?
when I go for a
I
little
was
bit.
planning on it. I did get a calendar invite for Commissioner Burgess's Eastern Council of Governments. Occurs once every 21 months.
What happened is they sent us a new one, and since you automatically get those commissioner invites now, that's why it showed up. They sent an updated,
I'm not gonna remember 21
Calendar.
months from now.
no, it's a reoccurring appointment, yeah. So I updated this calendar, and you're on the calendar.
Okay, and then on Thursday, 2025-2030 local homeless housing plan quarterly meeting. Is that ours or is that somebody in like the state or something that invited me to that?
Is it the home base thing?
Don't know. Alex Michael?
Yes, that's the home base. Consultant firm, I think that's working with the Department of Commerce to help entities that need help with their 5-year housing plan update.
Okay. I will not be on that one because I have MAC and then East Columbia Basin.
So that's not on this calendar.
No,
so it
it's
must have
not.
been just your own calendar.
Yeah, I'm just kind of confirming since they have a minute.
Carrie started attending before we contracted with LDC. And so then when she started attending, she had invited you and I to those also. So they were on the calendars, but you don't. You have to
Okay, and then we have Night of 1,000 Stars.
Yes.
Right.
Today you've got a homeless task force deal, I think, at like 3 o'clock.
Not out of meetings till 4.
You have a hearing.
Oh, to adopt the plan.
Yes.
So I know the city of Moses Lake is gonna be here for that. They are wondering if the edits they sent back on that.
You
were
know, a
appropriate.
phone call would have been appropriate, right? Coming to the adoption hearing on the deadline range doesn't make a lot of sense. Why they wouldn't have called.
It was mentioned to me on Friday. So.
Yeah, it's just odd.
They sent it, City of Moses Lake sent it to me this morning at 9:24.
You should just forward it to me and I will
I did. I forwarded it to all 3
forward my
commissioners.
opinion
and the-
on to them. We've only been working on it since July. Public comments have
So-
been for like 2 months.
City of Moses Lake sent you their changes this morning?
They said, please see some final minor edits on behalf of the City of Moses Lake. This is from Elizabeth Maria Busby. She said, I will be at the hearing today, but sending this your way in hopes that the final plan can be adopted with the changes attached. Changes reflect the section on page 19 applicable to the City of Moses Lake that needed to be rephrased to accurately describe the city's shift in response.
And they wanted to get that long before the day of adoption.
Yeah, you may take whatever she sent you and see it from our consultants if they did put anything in there. That way they know before the hearing.
I sent it to the consultants and Kim Zuppiger, I always say last name wrong. She said, message received, the changes look fine to me on page 19. It appears there may have been a comment for Appendix E, but I only see the name of the commenter and no comment.
There you go. So she's good. Okay. I would say that we addressed it then.
Yeah.
Why they're waiting until today.
We can talk to them about efficiency of government.
Coming from Moses Lake, making a public comment on their adoption day is just to be heard, so I don't know the point of that, but okay, thank you both. Maybe had a good idea earlier. Okay, any consent agenda items that want to be held? I would kind of like to hold the contract myself. We have an issue where it's just the 2 of us.
Talking about number 6.
I think it was number 6 or 8. Yeah, number 6.
One other comment for answer on the Placer AI, which I don't believe is on there. We
No.
do have the 2,000.
Okay. So we need to put that together on how it's going to be paid and then put it on consent after the 15th. My date's wrong on my watch. Cindy's not on, so that's why I don't know. I'm struggling on that one because
Hold it for a week.
you want to take recommendation from your committee, but at the same time, it doesn't line up with what the committee has said to you. So then it's confusing of why they're putting it forward. So that's, I guess, where I get stuck. But everybody wants to be friendly, so they just put things as yeses. So I don't know. I think we need a meeting on that one. We need a board opinion. We were supposed to have that meeting. We haven't had it yet.
Which one?
On tourism and LTAC and everything. We're going to have a board meeting about kind of the direction that we want to see all this going. This was going to include this contract position as well. And we haven't had it. I didn't think this was going to get pushed through so quick.
And the only reason why it got pushed through so quick is because the term is January 1. But after we got the legal response, I figured that this would be the best course so you guys can have it in front of you to take action on.
Yeah.
And I apologize, I didn't realize that your board work session was supposed to be regarding tourism also, so I had held off on,
It was just about this, because a lot of the direction that the board, not just myself, right, all three of us want to see needs to be decided before we sign a year contract. That's my opinion. I mean, for myself, I'd like to see a month to month, because as the marketing plan is done, it might not fall in the scope of wanting to go this direction. And I'd hate to wait another year to implement a $100,000 study if we can implement it kind of in the end of next year. Obviously, we're gonna have to put out our guides and everything in the spring, but not having to stay after that would be nice to have an option. I don't see us canceling a contract after we start one, is my reason for not wanting to pass this one, I guess. But I would like further discussion, unless you're good.
Should we hold it for a week?
I would like to hold it, only if we have time before then, though.
there's,
And Monday's not the day.
there's time in the afternoon on the 22nd, if you wanted us to schedule a work session to discuss this.
Hold it for 2 weeks.
What's our work sessions next week? It doesn't really look like we have any.
You just have your 15-minute one.
Yeah, that's probably enough, but maybe not.
We could put a half an hour work session from 8:30 to 9 on Tuesday the 16th, right before your consent agenda review session.
You know, that's a good time to get, if somebody doesn't get briefed up on that, it's a good time to catch up for that. That's an important hearing. I wouldn't want to take time out of that one. I would say let's do the 15-minute on the 16th, just change it to, maybe just put it in the details so that we remember what we're supposed to talk about. Sometimes we go out of HR and forget what we're going to talk about. On 16th, the 15-minute meeting. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. one?
That is your commissioners meeting.
Oh, it's only going to be short like that?
I can put it during the consent agenda review work session at the beginning of the day.
Do the 10:45 on Monday. And then we'll just hold this 1 week. If that's not enough time, then we'll hold it again.
10:45 on 12/16.
12:15.
12:15.
So I would hold 6 and 7.
Marketing development contract. Call it tourism marketing development contract review for that 15-minute period.
No, I would just do it in the work session.
I would just put a bullet
I
under
know,
there.
yeah, I want,
Okay.
it's probably just gonna be executive.
Okay.
So there's no point for people to see it and then come and then get told they have to leave the room. Okay, anything else? Then I will entertain a motion on today's consent agenda items.
I will make a motion that we approve items 1 through 20, holding items 6 and 7 for 1 week.
I'll second. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to approve consent agenda items 1 through 20, holding items 6 and 7 as moved by Commissioner Burgess.
Still
Time of hearing.
You can sign right here. You want that down there?
Which one though?
Vacation
We can go down there.
Station of Adrian.
Don't look like we're trying to starve an
almost
intro.
at Aurora.
How have you been, Kristen?
Good.
Are you slowed down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Did you go to Tennessee lately?
No.
Oh. I haven't been for too long. Barbara.
Excuse me, Cindy's not on call, right?
No. She didn't say she wasn't gonna be on. The meeting with Kevin Richards was kind of about her. You might see if she's going to be on that one. Yeah, essentially. Might listen to that one too. I think it's at 3. Liquor. It's our next meeting, Barb.
I have hearings. Hi, Barb. Hello, Barb.
We have a hearing next. Whoops.
Good, how are you?
No sign on. Yeah, Barbara,
The
you
vacation.
let me take those out for,
You should just.
wipe those out, print some new pages. You're in the wrong spot. You gotta be here.
You have the file, so I was just gonna be at the end, making sure everything was signed. Things aren't gonna be signed.
By who?
So what happens is, the
By
county
Barbara.
doesn't have an interest in maintaining those rights of way, and they're unusable as they are, so we vacate our interest in them.
What would you do if it wasn't that? Interrupt me on my bench.
I did see you, we have urgent classes.
Urgent.
Doris says they've been-
I feel like we need to have a lesson of,
I didn't open them up the door. It's just Adrian Luke.
we need a lesson on plats. Like, what should we be looking at? Not just signing a plat, like, oh,
Yes, but you're here.
like, what if we don't like a plat? Then what?
Basically just that area there.
Not sign it.
So Adrian Luke kind of comes down here and loops up here, but it goes through these lots and not down on this right away.
I know, I'm just saying. Just, you know, you're always kind of interested in how it works.
That's the railroad track. Oh, gotcha, okay. I think it's Jim Anderson Cook, but.
Yeah, it is.
Well, those are all the departments.
Yeah, so I don't know who would give the.
Jim.
I'll see if we can have that student next agenda.
Yeah, because sometimes you've been like, oh my gosh, why did they allow this?
It's private.
And it's because, you know, they put it through and then we sign it. Why'd you landlock this and allow them to be able to build?
Well, that's the thing, all the departments are supposed to look at it, and like Public Works, Public Works should be looking at
Yeah.
that.
But at the end of the day, you signed it, so it's on us. Because we have the final say.
Like the one out on Road C.
Yeah, like that.
Same situation, it's like, well, why?
Somebody signed that they could.
Should sign in.
Or what are these hearings? Take a seat, yes. Why did you submit your comments today?
The city manager saw that there was some edits that need
Why
to be
didn't
made.
you review it 2 weeks ago?
I think that's a great question. Did those get submitted?
Yeah. I don't know if they got changed, but we think that it lined up.
They were minimal.
He said there was something on number E, or they did, but there was no What'd you say, Caitlin?
There's no comment.
No
No,
comments?
One of the, she said it looked like somebody, it appears there may have been a comment for Appendix E, but she only saw the name of the commenter and no comment.
Oh, it might have, that probably exclude that. It was probably when I transmitted it to a Word document from a PDF. So just the actual track changes that I changed are the only ones that are. Thank you. Still no call, just so you know.
Call for what?
From your. From
My mom?
Yeah.
Slack or?
I was surprised. I was waiting to.
I know, so I'm too.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you guys, we appreciate it.
I'll remind her.
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. What's this one?
I know, they just keep coming.
I signed those too on accident.
Did you mean to not approve this one?
Yeah. No, I didn't. Did I date it? Nope. ARPA Boys and Girls Club. Did you thank your mom for sending the caroler?
Yes.
You were embarrassed, huh?
I thought it was your husband, maybe.
My husband would not do that.
You should send him one.
No, I will not.
Trying to pay her back, I was reading something, she wouldn't look over at me.
She was locked in.
Yeah.
When you were sitting up there, was she making faces at you?
That was the whole table make faces at him.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was encouraging faces. We weren't making mean faces. We were giving him a thumbs up and smiling.
That was probably awkward.
It was the entire day.
It was the entire day.
You made it through. Even with the time change.
We didn't have a choice.
hand's tired now.
We go on here. Feel like I just bought a house.
You bought more than a house, just wasn't your money. The Rob remover.
Correct that one. Metal mesh will not be as hard,
Who did that?
just so you know.
Somebody did it?
Public Works.
Somebody did it.
Dang. I'm impressed they put your middle initial on there. No walk-ons, nothing else? All right, we will recess this meeting at 11:33 a.m. We start another one at 11:30, right? So I need to get on to that one.
I was impressed with your
Computer.
reach under the table and magically, I'm like, that was
Smart.
sneaky.
Barbara, are you giving the overview on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The other Barbara. Way to go, Barbara. Do you want to? I'll let you.
No, I was like, well, that's why I got scared for a second. Okay, have a good day, everybody.
Okay, Barbara, thank you.
Thank you.
Marco.
Okay, good morning. It's 11:36 a.m. on Tuesday, December 9th. We're here for an open record public hearing to consider a request to vacate a portion of Adrian Loop Road and various unbuilt rights of way in Adrian Town Plat, Section 24, Township 22 North, Range 27 East. Willamette Meridian. To give us a overview of this project, we have Barbara O'Neill with Grant County Public Works.
We are in receipt of a petition to vacate what is known as Adrian Loop Road. When talking with the road district supervisor for that area, we haven't really maintained it. It's more of a track, but it is not built on the actual right-of-way for roads within Adrian Town Plat and doesn't really serve any purpose. The unbuilt rights between blocks B1, B4, and along B2 and B3, except lots 1 and 6, are the actual rights, and they are currently just scrub. The landowner, Andrea Merrill, and her mother, Linda, have petitioned to vacate those unbuilt rights. And as Public Works is not maintaining Adrian Loop, we would like to remove it from the county maintenance system as we're not spending any funds on it. Per RCWs, the county engineer has submitted his report. He is in favor of it. I have that with me if you need it. The notice of resolution 25098CC on the vacation and abandonment was published in the official newspaper for 2 consecutive weeks. And the notice was posted on site for 20 days before this hearing. Public Works respectfully requests that you review this vacation.
Did you have any concerns with this vacation?
No.
No.
No, we did make sure there is one owner that is not Merrill, and that was that lot 6. And so we stopped the end of Adrian Loop at lot 1, so he's still able to get to his property via the public forever claimer on the plat.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I'm good with it. I talked to these people quite a while ago, looked into it, so
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Then hearing no more questions, we will open up a period for public comment. 3 minutes per person. Do we have any members of the audience that have public comment today? Hearing none, we have 1 call-in user. Does Carrie Stockton have any public comment?
She does not.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to close the public comment portion of this hearing.
So move.
I'll second. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Public comment portion of this hearing has been closed. I'll entertain a motion to approve the requested vacation portion of Adrian Loop Road.
I would make a motion that we accept the request to vacate the portion of Adrian Loop Road and unbuilt rights in Adrian Town Plat, Section 24, Township 22, North Range 27, East West Breeden, Grant County, Washington.
I will second. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The request to vacate has been approved. Thank you. This concludes our hearing. We will be back at 11:45 for an open record public hearing to consider adoption of Grant County 5-year homeless plan. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 9th, 11:45 a.m. and we are here for an open record public hearing to consider the adoption of the Grant County 5-year homeless housing strategic plan 2025 to 2030 required by the Washington State Department of Commerce and pursuant to RCW 43.185C. To give us a brief overview of the project that we've been working on, we have Kim Zuppiger with LDC. Are you there, Kim?
Hello. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kim Zupiger, And I have been working with the Grant County Homeless Housing Commission for the past 6 months to develop the Grant County Homeless Housing 5-year strategic plan for 2025 to 2030. And I have a brief PowerPoint presentation that I can go over with you. Not sure if Caitlin's going to pull it up. Just to give you some background, next slide, please. The revised Code of Washington, or RCW 43.15.185C, requires each county to develop a 5-year homeless housing plan. This code includes provisions for the homeless housing strategic plan, program outcomes, performance measures, and statewide data gathering. The 5-year housing plan for Grant County is based on the Washington Department of Commerce's 2024 strategic plan and planning guidance. The goal of the plan is to align local efforts with state strategic vision to reduce and ultimately eliminate homelessness. Next slide, please. The purpose of the plan is to identify local needs and gaps, set measurable goals, align with new state guidance, and include public and lived experience input. And when we talk about lived experience, we're talking about folks who have been previously unhoused or homeless. Slide 3, please. As per the Department of Commerce guidance, the 5-year homeless housing plan includes updates the homeless housing plan objectives. It provides the estimated service levels for homeless folks, identifies funding sources, provides estimates of permanent and emergency housing needs, and indicates that any future capital projects for homeless housing would meet the state criteria. The homeless housing plan also documents all public engagement activities that have taken place in association with development of this plan. Next slide, please. The homeless housing plan includes Commerce's 5 required objectives. Commerce has developed new requirements for the homeless housing plan since the last time the county adopted their homeless housing plan in 2019. One of the main elements that has changed are the objectives, and the county must address these. These 5 objectives formed the backbone of the county's strategies to prevent and end homelessness. And these include the following. Number 1, to promote an equitable and accountable and transparent homeless housing crisis response system. Number 2, to strengthen the homeless service provider workforce. 3, prevent episodes of homelessness whenever possible. 4, prioritize assistance based on the greatest barriers to housing stability and the greatest risk of harm. And number 5, seek to house everyone in a stable setting that meets their needs. Next slide, please. LDC, just to go over the milestones, LDC launched an online survey for Grant County. This was posted on the county's website from July 21, 2025 through August 21, 2025. And we received approximately 1,000 responses. We worked with the Grant County Housing Task Force to collect the data and prepare the goals for the homeless housing plan. The draft plan was provided to the Homeless Housing Task Force for review. We also posted the homeless housing plan for public review. This was posted online for 30 days, received a total of 17 comments. And as of November 21st, the Grant County Homeless Housing Task Force assisted with revisions and finalization of the plan, and they voted to recommend approval of the plan to the board. And we're here today with the final version of the plan that will be submitted to Commerce for review. Next slide. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
You have any questions for her?
I don't have any questions.
You wanna note that City of Moses Lake submitted comments this morning. I forwarded those to the commissioners and to the consultant as well, that are not reflected in the version of the plan that is posted online.
Kim, were those changes made in the plan that will be adopted?
They have not. I just received the comments this morning and I'm fine with the comments. It was just a few minor changes from City of Moses Lake regarding describing their nonprofit services. So I can forward that. I believe it was in your packet, but I can forward the final version to the clerk.
Caitlin, are the changes easily readable that were requested?
Lucia used track changes, so you should be able to open the document and see.
Can you post them on here so we can read them into the record so we can adopt with the changes?
The City of Moses Lake Homeless Service Organizations and Resources. The purple changes reflect what the City of Moses Lake has submitted.
And try to get them on my screen.
Or do they just line out the city? Is that what I'm reading?
This portion of here was changed from the City of Moses Lake to nonprofits in Moses Lake. And then in this section, shift in homelessness response, it now reads that under this approach, the city no longer provides or operates shelter or intensive case management, but instead funds partner organizations that focus on transportation to supportive services.
That's it. No, that's it.
Those were the changes.
That was it, only changes those couple.
Makes sense.
Commissioner Burgess, do you have any issues with the changes?
No, not at all.
Okay, please note the changes in a motion. Okay, if there are no more questions or discussion items, we will now open up the public comment portion of this hearing. Do any members in the audience have anything for public comment? Come to the podium, announce your name and affiliation.
Good morning, Commissioners. City of Moses Lake, my name is Elizabeth Merlo Busby. The City of Moses Lake would just like to thank you for considering our changes in such a short time frame, and also appreciate the effort that has been inputted through the Homeless Housing Task Force to get this program adopted in the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, do you have any public comment?
I have none.
All right, we will go to our call-in users. We have Carrie Stockton and Sheila.
Carrie has said that she has no public comment. Sheila, I've given you the ability to unmute if you have any public comment.
I do not.
Thank you. I don't believe there is any additional public comment, so I will entertain a motion to close the public comment portion of this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we adopt the Grant County 5-year.
Close the public comment. Public comment.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I'll make a motion, we close the public comment period.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to close the public comment. Any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to close the public comment portion of this hearing. I will entertain a motion to adopt.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we adopt the Grant County 5-year 2025 to 2030 homeless housing strategic plan required by the Washington State Department of Commerce and pursuant to RCW 43.185C to include the changes from the city of Moses Lake.
I'll second. There's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes to adopt the Grant County 5-year homeless housing strategic plan as moved by Commissioner Burgess with the adopted changes. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Kim. And this concludes our public hearing. We will be back in session today at 1 p.m. with department head review. Good afternoon. It is 1:02 p.m. and we are here for department head review. We will be going into executive session starting at 1:02, returning at 1:17 p.m. for evaluation RCW 42.30.1101G. We're going to extend executive session until 1:27.
You went upstairs. Can I give this? This is for Caitlin. Going with the dress.
Okay, it is 1:31. We are out of executive session.
There's that back, and if you need another one, I've got, and Larissa, Gina will be over at 2 to do the next one.
Still online, or is he joining?
He's here.
He's out in the hall.
Making a new executive forum. Okay, Barb, I think I'm good to go. I'll make sure I didn't lose my deal. Oh,
Ah, you get the hot seat.
Oh, thank you. I'll take the hot seat.
Got it all warmed up for you.
See you. You as well. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna run this roller coaster really fast.
okay, come in when you're
This is
done.
me running. I don't know.
Okay, Barb, we are going to be going into executive session for, we'll begin with 15 minutes. More than likely we'll extend, so if you just watch. We'll be coming out at 1:47 p.m. for evaluation, RCW 42.30.1101G. We'll extend executive session until 1:55. It is 1:55. We are out of executive session. We are just signing this. I do not have a par, I don't believe. Normally
Gina should be coming over, and I don't know if not, we'll get one.
do during.
I signed really small, so can't do wrong.
I have the par. I'll bring that down.
Okay.
Was I supposed to sign that one?
I was giving you one if you wanted to say one.
Oh.
I always say one.
I don't, because I don't have any place to lock it up in. So put this with this one. So no need.
Fancy pants over there's got it locked. Yeah.
High security.
Where's our HR locker? So we don't get in trouble.
Any further comments for Dell before we recess until our next meeting?
Just thanks for being who you are.
Appreciate
We appreciate you.
Thanks for being a
Thank
part
you.
of our team.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we will recess until 2 p.m. when we are back for our department head review. Good afternoon. It is 2 p.m. and we are here for a department head review. We're going to go into executive session for 20 minutes, returning at 2:20 p.m. for evaluation, RCW 42.30.1101G. We are going to extend executive session for 5 more minutes until 2:26 p.m. It is 2:26 p.m. We are out of executive session. Do we have any comments or do we want to take a quick 4-minute recess?
I'm gonna take a quick 4-minute recess.
Wonderful. We'll be back at 2:30.
And thank you, Gina, for working.
Good afternoon. It is 2:31 and we are here for a employee evaluation. We have Swail Palacios with us. How did I do?
Good job.
Thank you.
Good
We will go into executive session beginning at 2:31. Can I have that for a second? This one? Yeah. 2:32 until, let's just go to 2:50 for evaluation RCW 42.30.1101G. All right, it is 2:50. We are going to go into recess until 3 p.m. and we are back for shoreline violation discussion. Good afternoon. We are here for a shoreline violation discussion. We have part of the crew here, but we are missing the sheriff's office. Barbara or Caitlin, can you please let them know to come over? And we will stand at ease offline while we wait for them to arrive. All right, good afternoon. It is 3:02 p.m. and we are back in session for a shoreline violation
No. There you go. I can't fit the chair. Yeah, you can.
Shoreline violation discussion.
We have the sheriff's office, prosecuting attorney's office, and development services with us. Who's leading this shindig? Mr. Mansford?
I'll be deferring to either Shane or
We'll defer to Mr. Jim. Okay, well, I said it wasn't mine, but I guess it's mine, so.
Well, just a minute, we got one chair that seems a lot lower than all the others. I don't like.
Only this tall. I don't need to be.
It's like your.
Oh, those fall back? I didn't realize that, okay.
I didn't.
Maybe short.
Yeah, I was looking over and I'm like, significant height
We
difference.
bought these chairs, I understand, for firearms.
Oh,
So
that's
you
awesome.
can flip the arms, or like,
Oh,
what is
that's
up with
nice.
that? So they can flip the arms up. We were thinking of you.
So the topic at hand is how to address shoreline violations in Grant County. So, like I may have brought up the commissioners up to speed, we have stood back up again the monthly meetings between the Grant County Sheriff's Office and Development Services in reviewing code enforcement cases, just general questions, code questions, things like that. One of the cases that was bubbled up is a shoreline violation out on West Shore. And the question came to Development Services, how should we address the case? As I explained to the Sheriff's Office, the challenge with the current process is, you know, as we well know, it's a complaint-driven process. And my office has the ability to file the complaint, but it's how do we make the Sheriff's Office aware of the urgency of the complaint, if at all, specifically in and around what we see this time of year when the lake is drawn down and people take this as their opportunity to do the things that they've been wanting to do in the summertime, like knock down weeds, move boulders, you know, do activity inside of the lake bed below the ordinary high water mark, usually with small equipment, mini excavators, things like that. That work occurs within moments, a day, not weeks, okay? So given it being a complaint-driven system where we file the ticket, it goes into Laserfiche, again, it gets disseminated out to whomever is looking at those tickets, and then we get to it. I'm not saying it's not with urgency, but we have several in the system, I would imagine. How do we do it differently, if at all? So as I'm made aware of these, my office could respond, but I don't have the statutory authority to do that. And therein lies the issue. So also at hand is how far do we want to take these things, take these complaints? Do we, you know, if we partner with the Department of Ecology, who has code enforcement authority, it will become an issue of doing on-site or possibly off-site restoration for what they'll call hard armoring. We have, in this particular case, we have a situation where a developer has gone into this particular parcel, has removed all of the vegetation all the way down to the ordinary high water mark of the lake, has put in quarry spall, has put in interlocking retaining wall block, refurbished a dock. We're talking about maybe $100,000 worth of restorative work. Is that something that we want to be pursuing? Is it important that we be doing that?
And I can tell you from a legal standpoint that the sheriff's office does not have a duty to act on behalf of ecology and at their request. It helps our relationship with them insofar as discretionary grants and things like that. So those are collateral consequences to consider if we tell them we're not going to assist. But legally, the sheriff's office does not have to pick up the baton on those investigations. So we do have an option not to pursue that $100,000 remediation essentially and then babysit that. Because it's my understanding of generally what you have to do and how long do you have to watch that and deal with it.
It depends on what the mitigation plan is. It lasts from anywhere between 3 and 5 years, and maybe sometimes even longer than that. So my conversations with ecology most recently, up to about 6 weeks ago, have been, in my opinion, it would be money better spent in educating our community as opposed to penalizing our community, because these folks, not in this necessarily in this case, because this is a developer that's doing this work and causing these violations, but when we have a new person coming into the community of Moses Lake, they're just looking at what their neighbors have done and are doing. They look to the left, they look to the right, they see that this person has grass going all the way down to their bulkhead. This person has, quarry spall and interlocking block down to their bulkhead, so I must be able to do the same thing. And what I have proposed and would like to do is to, stand up a more robust educational program, maybe by zone or reach or what have you, that would remind them what they can and can't do inside of these designations, so that we can meet our obligations with the grant that we received last year for $160,000 to ensure no net loss of ecological function of those shorelines, and be compliant with ecology's mandate, so to speak.
Well, that's where this came from, is from that grant, those grant funds that require us to do that.
It didn't come from that, but we did stand up a more robust permitting software, so that when we issue a building permit or a shoreline permit for a dock, let's say, we do input the existing conditions of the site. You're required to mitigate for any overwater disturbances. So let's say your dock is 400 square feet, you're going to plant 400 square feet of mitigation planting on shore. And then we are to monitor that planting for up to 5 years to make sure that it sticks. Where it gets a little awkward is when you have a property that has grass, wall to wall down to the bulkhead, and now you're asking them to put in, habitat, bunch grasses, equal to 400 square feet that we then go in and police. That permitting process exists now because of that grant that we received, and is how we operate going forward. This is just how do we want to deal with when we run into shoreline violations during, I'll give you a case in point. We received a building permit application for an in-ground pool. Part of the review is looking at the critical areas and do we meet the buffering requirements and all the things. Well, we do that review and we learn that the shoreline has been obliterated by a bobcat in the preparation for said pool. What do we want to do in that situation? Because if we hand it over to ecology, I know very well what would be the expectation. And in this case, it is absolutely, again, look to the left, look to the right, you're going to see green grass on both sides.
Now, ecology can require that person to do whatever they want, and they may have some authority to require development services to keep tabs on any money that's held. Usually people put money into an account for this purpose, so we know that they'll make good My question to you, and something to think about, is ecology, as I understand it, is now asking us to go a step further and wants our law enforcement to pick up the baton, conduct their own investigation. Ecology will not information share. Yeah?
They have advanced technologies, aerial technologies that they will not share.
So they want us to use our county resources to conduct our own investigation and then do our own enforcement, which under the county code is only going to be about $1,000. And if judge hears, regardless of what I say, if judge hears that this person is already putting, say, $100,000 aside, or has a bond for $100,000 to complete this work, I can tell you right now, Commissioner Poulos will amend that to $250 or less, and we will all move on with our day. And the $250 just covers court costs. That doesn't cover law enforcement time, prosecutor time, et cetera. Now, if you want law enforcement to do that, they absolutely can. I can tell you from my perspective, I don't think that the numbers make sense for best use of county resources, especially when we don't have an obligation to enforce under the county code. The commissioners and law enforcement have discretion whether or not to exercise that. So particularly with ecology not information sharing and ecology having their own remedies, they can pursue fines, et cetera, against the property owners. So it's not as if this is their only remedy. So that's my thought anyway.
Yeah, I like that option.
I don't think that the county should pay for it. If the DOE wants to enforce it, then let them enforce it. They can bring the state patrol over here or something. Why should we
I
pay for
believe one of the properties in question is also the developer changed it all, cleaned it up, and then sold it. So the people who own it weren't even involved in the renovation. So they would be the ones that would end up footing the bill for that as the current property owner. Because we can't prove when it happened.
We can just prove that it exists now.
Yeah, ecology wants to be in partnership with the enforcement authority. They can take point if I suppose if it's egregious enough, but they have done that in this county, and I don't know how that's worked out. So I guess that's the ask here, does the VOCC want the sheriff's office to take point on situations like this and have ecology then, when the sheriff's office is met with resistance, have ecology then be able to come behind them with the support and the horsepower that they have to take it to the finish line? Or do we want to leave it as is?
So Jim, so I can understand, this is a local plan. I think when previously, like Department of Ecology, we're kind of following, this is our, because when we've had little issues with Department of Ecology, they say, this is a county situation. We're the ones that have the critical areas, so ordinance or critical area, not so much as Department of Ecology. So we need to handle it because it's a violation of our policy. So they've always said, the county needs to take care of it.
Yeah, and that's their position. It's our shoreline management plan, and that hasn't changed. Yeah.
So I guess we just need to, I guess since it's our plan, we just need to figure out how we're gonna, I guess, execute that plan.
Yeah.
How you want to enforce it.
When we update the plan, change it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be as binary as we're making it. You know, we can piecemeal a little bit. You know, we can say, well, maybe we don't think it's a good use of sheriff's officers' time to go through the entire enforcement process that they would for the purposes of a citation. Maybe it's worth 20 minutes going out, taking a picture really quick to visually confirm a violation, skip an infraction process and tell them, put up the bond or we're going to sick ecology on you. There's some daylight between the options here. It just depends on how creative you want to get.
And then when does the line begin? Because you can find certain places of the lake where it is like that, right? So where does it start? Where do you have to go back to?
The entire, even in the residential designation, you still have a 50-foot buffer of natural vegetation with a 15-foot building setback line.
That's 65 feet.
That's 65 feet. There's nothing in the SMP that allows you to take and plant grass all the way down to the bulkhead.
Was that at a certain date of time?
Since 2018.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 28, so prior to that, or prior to certain other dates?
That was the adoption of the SMP.
Then,
People could be grandfathered in.
yeah, so I guess that's what I'm trying to understand is, okay, you're 65 feet today. 10 years ago, you were 40 feet, then you were 20. So what, do you have to go and?
You don't have to revert back to, if it's not
Okay.
it's not a regressive policy.
Yeah, you can get grandfathered in essentially. It's not retroactive. You've already done the work to your property when it was a lawful thing to do. You just can't.
But did it fall into the law at the time?
Right, if it was compliant with the law before
Seems a little
2018.
slippery.
Now, let's just say in 2016, I lived on the lake and I did that in this hypothetical, that would be fine. But once it's passed in, 2018, 2019, now you can't do it. But those perhaps neighbors are seeing those people who are grandfathered in and making the presumption that it's legal, I think is what you said earlier. Yeah.
Well, this particular individual this developer that did what he did, there were people out there that saw what he did. Should we have done something at that point?
Yeah, and that's we didn't catch it. It was brought to our attention by a wetland specialist from the Department of Ecology, and what we meant when we said earlier that they're not sharing their technology, there's software out there now, aerial imagery that is updated quarterly in Moses Lake proper, that they can see in almost real time changes that are taking place, and that's how it was picked up. They showed me an image of a Connex box full of trash to a pristine, not pristine, but
Cleaned up piece of property.
over the span of 3 months. Yeah.
And to be clear, I don't think that we can say whether or not they're trying to be very difficult. As I understand it, there may be issues with sharing the information because they're pulling from a database and there may be contractual prohibitions. We haven't explored that in depth because we still can't get it regardless. But that's just something to consider. They are asking for enforcement, but they may not necessarily be saying, we don't want to share for the sake of not sharing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my department has an obligation going forward, it always has, but going forward, when we issue shoreline development permits, especially after having stood up the new permitting processes that were afforded to us because of that shoreline no net loss grant, that's the line. That's where we start with, any new docks, any new, it goes beyond just docks. But that's where we begin monitoring the no net loss of ecological functions based off of the permits that we issue. I can't go backwards, and I can't necessarily, I don't have the resources, they don't have the resources to find all of these violators and then implement monitoring plans for the next 5 years to put these things back to a condition that, again, it's no net loss of ecological function. So you've got a parcel area that's 100 feet wide that could have a newly established, pristine, 50-foot riparian buffer next to two, grass yards all the way down to the bulkhead. I don't see how that's defensible.
So how do you know where the starting line is? Because you can't no net loss. So we obviously had a starting point. Is that when the grant started? Was that 2018?
It's always been, it's ever since 2018, our SMP says no net loss of ecological function.
So if they're not willing to share the information on what shoreline was.
I should clarify, we have not had the tools in place to be able to establish our ability to track no net loss until we receive the funding to be able to do that.
So can we now do that?
We can. We now can do that.
So
And we're one of 3.
it's really hard to go back to 18 and say, well, was this to prove it? So I guess moving forward, is that where
we're not required to go back to 18.
Okay.
No, we're just now required in our permitting processes to be able to establish the as-built, as-is conditions at the time of the issuance of the building permit, to log the monitoring plan, and then to be able to given access on site to monitor that plan over the term so that we can establish that there has been or not a net loss of ecological function based off of the templates that have been provided to us.
And that's just for those that have filed and
That's
been
just for the
granted
ones that,
permits.
and that's an armful in itself.
We're not proactive going out and photographing the shoreline
Well, that's what I was
quarterly
wondering,
just
how
to
do
see
you
where the
establish
changes are.
what the shoreline was?
Because during this grant process and this study process, we had a reach analysis done in 2018. And then we just recently completed a reach analysis as part of this grant, and they made a determination, has there been gains in certain reaches? Has there been losses in certain reaches? Or have certain reaches just stayed net neutral? And so that all of that data has been built into our permitting software so that when we issue a permit based off of the parcel for that particular reach, we have an established baseline today. And then based off of the mitigation plan and then our monitoring of that plan over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, our hope is that the mitigation sticks and we have achieved no net loss, and the hope is net gain. So.
And with not being proactive on that, we rely on reports coming into us that this has occurred. And oftentimes that could be 6 months, 8 months, a year later.
Right.
Where, hey, my neighbor did this, now I'm getting a stop work order because I'm doing it, but they just did it 6 months ago. And now we have to go back and try to look, and that's where it gets difficult to track when stuff was done and who actually did it. Because in order to do any prosecution or citation, we have to prove who did the work or who owns the land that authorized the work.
So I think that's kind of where the connect is, the code enforcer, if something's filed, it takes a while. I mean, the project is done by the time. And then it's.
Yeah, a lot of these projects are done on
Examiner.
weekends or within construction.
Yeah, and even if we cite the current property owner, do we want to be in the business of citing people who didn't have an attorney look at the property, who is also familiar with the SMD to try to figure out if there is a pre-existing violation? I don't know that we do. Is that a reasonable expectation? You're shaking your head no. I think a lot of us that might at least be a good argument. And so then if not, then we're stuck trying to backtrack for what will probably be the coverage of court costs, and that's it. So as far as the citation, even if we utilize GCSO, might not make monetary sense. You can still do it. Trevor and I will happily do it, but.
That's where we look at like the developer that'll buy a property, clean it up and then sell it. Well, by the time we hear about it, it's the new property owner that has it. So are they gonna be on the hook for the $100,000? Or
Yeah, I
whatever
think
it's
we
gonna
just need a
cost to
little faster
mitigate it?
process to get it.
Well,
That
The
relies on our
reporting.
citizens. I mean, that's.
we'd either have to expand the GCSO's force, which good luck to us. We can't get enough people to staff the jail right now, so, or get people to constantly report on their neighbors, which they would have
No,
to
but it's
see the
hard
violation,
when-
care about it, know it's violation, and then be
I
active.
think the education part of it's probably the most important part.
Mhm.
You know, educating the public. I mean, you know, you could go to the Realtors Association and have them help us spread the word. I mean, and let them know that it's gonna be enforced.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, they just look at, you know, my neighbor just did it, so I don't care, I'm gonna do it. They got away with it.
Yeah. If
We
they
deal
even
with
realize
few
it's a
characters out
violation.
there.
It's all very complicated. I doubt the average person thinks to go look to determine what
I
the,
think the average
yeah.
person probably knows, and it's best just not to ask and move forward.
Either way, they're gonna do it.
Because sometimes
Well,
it's,
and to that, like Jim was saying, if you have two neighbors and they have, you know, a nice retaining wall set here and here, well, to me, if these neighbors did it, I'm just gonna make my retaining wall the same, because now it's gonna match.
Mhm.
Which may have been okay in 2017, not okay now in 2020. So I can completely understand how that can get misconstrued.
Could we do something like in the tax statements for individuals that have lots on the lake?
And we talked about that, and that we would have to get the elected official on board, because that's the fastest way. I mean, we have already produced educational flyers It's just what's the cost to disseminate those out, and that was the idea.
Have you talked to her? Because at least the last time I talked to the assessor about adding information, she told me it was impossible to change the form for any reason. So I don't know if that's still the case.
It wouldn't be adding to the form, it would be including it in the mail.
Just a flyer in the mail out? Okay, then they might be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've added information. We took it upon ourselves and have added an entire page for Shoreline to our website using some of Ecology's materials that they've put together for both contractors and homeowners, because contractors are equally as much of a violator too.
But they should know better.
They should know better, of course, right? But I can't tell you how many landscapers tell me, I had no idea, I didn't know, right?
I think some really don't know, but
Yeah.
you've been around the block, you know.
But yes, that was exactly the thought, is how can we disseminate this out economically, and if we could get the elected on board. that would
Well,
be
even
great.
if you could connect to 2 or 3 people in a street and they see somebody else do it, they're gonna go down there and say, hey, you might wanna check to make sure, or did you get your permits to do that?
Right.
At least if we can educate a portion of them,
Yeah.
that may help.
Right.
Okay, so thoughts. We like the flyer. We like being proactive with education. Does the board want citations to be issued? If so, to the current owner? Do you want to use GCSO resources to look back in time? Do we want to use them at all? Do we want to meet in the middle?
Is it set up?
I'm a no for citations currently. If we're gonna go that route, I'd like a longer session on this. Maybe not online.
I kind of like the educational piece first and work in that direction, and then.
In the interim, when Ecology passes the baton, do you want GCSO to even conduct a preliminary investigation, knowing we won't issue a citation, but for remediation monitoring purposes? Or would you like us to just tell Ecology you're handling it at this point?
I don't think isn't Ecology gonna push back?
Yes, probably.
Well, I think it's our
I mean,
shoreline.
it's our responsibility, yeah.
It's our responsibility.
It is an option, it's just not the best option.
I mean, if we go down the educational path, I mean, I think a visit from Grant County Sheriff's Office to the violator with educational information would be an appropriate response. You know, not a stop work order, so to speak, but hey, you know,
Start there.
start there. Were you aware? I would advise you to call, well,
The game department and you.
yeah, right.
Is this happening in existing structures or these are new builds?
Existing. They, you know, Ecology stood up 8 new positions 2 years ago throughout the state to monitor shorelines, and they have a new compliance officer assigned to Grant and other counties. So it's an increasingly difficult thing to navigate.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to get
So,
ready for our next one.
Adding to the
too.
shoreline, adding information into the tax statements, education, and then if we do a citation, it'll be a phase-in approach.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, all agree?
No, phase-in approach starting when?
No, I mean, if it's, we haven't decided, but if we do
Okay,
move
yeah,
forward
I'd
with the
like to
citation,
know.
it will be a phase-in, it's not gonna be.
I'd rather you get the bad guys, not the guys with the shovels.
Okay.
So,
We can do that.
Okay.
Education.
Do you guys feel that you know what you're supposed to do going forward, at least as far as the BOCC would like you to do?
Yes.
Okay.
and then
We
Jim,
don't
if
know.
you'd
Don't
like
look to us, because we don't know.
longer to discuss it all, then we just set up one
Yeah.
planning.
I think if we get a specific one, you guys can weigh in on it.
That works. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll
Thank
take a quick recess and be back in session near
I just sent you an
3:30.
email.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is 3:31 PM and we are here for a W20 project presentation with Kevin Richards representing Port of Moses Lake. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
You're welcome.
Good.
Mr. Roach, good to have you here.
Thank you. Well, I guess I'll start off. I know Kevin set it up, but I wanted to come represent the port as well. So I met all of you, and good to see you again. But Dan Roach, Executive Director of the Port of Moses Lake. So we, like pretty much any entity in the area. I've been looking at water. Water's been a concern for everyone. Port's no different. So in the past, we've done studies, been looking into any ways that we can procure water. And recently, we have been working on an idea that Kevin's going to illustrate here.
Kevin, do you need internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll talk slower while the internet gets connected. That way.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dan.
No problem.
Looking up at the screen there, I'm like, looks like you're not connected to the internet.
I saw my cat videos, but.
Perfect, thank you. Thanks, sir. And the Port of Moses Lake hosted a lovely anniversary.
And thank you for
celebration.
attending. Yeah.
It's very nice.
Thank you. It was enjoyable. There were a lot of old-timers.
Thank you so much.
and, Reminisced, was nostalgic. Are you plugged in?
Yeah, I'm plugged in, but I better find this show here.
Yeah, so again, we've been looking at all different options. The option that Kevin's going to present today is one that I think fills a lot of needs. I think we've all been kind of
Oh, you can see my ADD
siloed
showing.
and looking for different ways to solve the problem. This is you'll see when Kevin shows it here, is something that's going to be able to help everybody rather than just a port or just a city or just a certain group. So we're excited about that it's got multiple benefits. We've been shopping the idea now. I want to point out we were at the LEAD Summit and Commissioner Jones pulled together a group right afterwards to talk about this with some of the people that were involved in water across the county. That went very well. Kevin's been out hitting the streets, talking to a lot of different people. We're looking for partnerships and really feel that to address our water needs on a large scale, it's definitely going to require partnerships and working together to be able to make it work. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Kevin. He's going to kind of walk us through and we can take some questions and answers as well.
So you have before you the kind of the handouts we've been giving both in Washington, D.C. and here locally. Fortunately for us, we've now have an MOU put together with the Moses Lake Irrigation and Rehabilitation District. We also have an MOU coming from the Grant County Conservancy District as well. They'll be showing up here shortly. They left a little late from a meeting, but they're going to talk about a lot of environmental impacts to the lake that this would benefit. So this is essentially taking place, if you see the purple circle up in the northwest portion of the county. This is the West Canal that this would be coming off of, this water. The West Canal, as you see it there at the top of page, is designed for 50,000 CSF, or 5,000 CSF per second, and then 4,000 post that turn. And then 1,000 was designed CSF to go into what would have been two reverse siphons. You see one there. A second one, headwaters and tailwaters, was built but not finalized in construction. So the largest portion of the project, and this is not necessary to get us down the generational trail for water, but this would help a lot of certainties, is to build that second siphon, which is about $50 million. So that's kind of a long-term legacy project. But for now, we're really talking about just that West 20 and just using the seasonal water difference, right? So we're not going to affect any farmers because we would not be using it during peak time. We'd be talking about May and September to flood into the lake and offset any use that any farmer would have, we could benefit from at that time. So essentially, that's kind of what we're looking at, big picture. You see the line there. It would come off the W20 that you see the truncation of the line into the north part of the lake, and that's anywhere from 50 to 75 CSF. That portion of the project is a 200-foot fall from the canal, so it actually does not need to be pressurized or piped. It could actually be a raceway, and that raceway could be built for $20 to $25 million. So kind of exciting to be able to do that portion of the project. That would bring generational water to Moses Lake. For perspective, water in Moses Lake currently is 10,000 acre feet. Just using the shoulder seasons for this water is 50,000 acre feet. So we're talking, for easy math, 5 times
the use of the city of Moses Lake currently. So we'd have a long time coming. Additionally, again, if that second siphon was built, the added benefit would be exponential, because this wouldn't just be shoulder season, it would be all year round. So some huge benefits there. The part that I really wanted Christina Rebelli to speak to, but I guess I'll make an effort, is there was a study done in 2020 about lake quality using this method. Right now, we're concerned that we're going toward 58 parts per billion on algae blooms. And so the lake is just getting more and more stagnant. And if we don't do something about that, it actually turns dangerous. As you know, we try to avoid any algae blooms that are in the lake. And that if we were to start adding the 50,000 acre feet, we could start getting that algae bloom number quite lower. So 50,000 acre feet takes it from 58 to 46. And then if we got that second canal or that reverse siphon, it'd be 39, which is essentially Banks Lake quality water in Moses Lake, which would be a huge advocate for our tourism industry, for hotels, and for raw water use for industry, as well as potable use for the city and for the port potentially to be able to pump out of the lake. So we'd be filtering cleaner water, as it were, into filters at different parks to be able to put them into different systems at the city level. And then at the port level, we would have both a raw water pipe and a potable water pipe. And so that would be two different levels of filtration, but we'd be starting with much cleaner water in the lake itself. So if there's any questions on any of that so far.
So to get it from the lake to the port, how are you gonna accomplish that?
Okay, so that's, so the W20 is off the West Canal. It is already in place. And we would be building this raceway of about 2.5 miles into the north part of the lake. And this actually naturally flows to the south. So there'd be a distribution source to go to all the city parks and the port's offtake, where the port would want to take either at McConaughey Park or a different location to get to the port. But for the city doesn't have a massive pipe that feeds all neighborhoods. Each neighborhood is kind of independent, as you know. So this would allow them to put them at parks that were on the lake and pump and withdrawal and put it into the system independently. And nowadays, cleaners or filtration systems are kind of truck mounted, modular systems that you can put in series, which makes it somewhat affordable as you increase with time. Because they wouldn't be needing the 50,000 acre feet, wouldn't obviously be needed tomorrow. But this would allow them to have the flexibility of both distribution within the lake as well as filtration out of the lake into their system.
So is this, and you probably mentioned it, I have just been reading, are these navigable waters or are they irrigation waters?
It'll be in the lake, so it'd be Moses Lake would be navigable.
Okay, but you're pulling it from something. What are you pulling the water from?
The West Canal.
Which would be irrigation?
Correct.
Okay, and putting it into.
Yeah, and again, just make sure that as you were reading, I don't want to have this point missed. It would be just shoulder seasons though. So kind of as the farmer on the board here, I want to make sure you understood that. This is just the shoulder seasons. Peak season wouldn't be affected at all for any farmers. This would just be that shoulder piece. And there's plenty of water within that shoulder season, just out of this ditch for Moses Lake for 5 times their current use. So.
Have you talked to the irrigation or the Bureau? I guess it'd be the Bureau.
Yeah, so we've met with the Bureau in Washington, D.C. We've met with Mark here in Ephrata. We met with Quincy, and we'll be presenting to Quincy first of next month, Quincy Irrigation District. The manager there was for the project. Our first offer in negotiations was $200 an acre foot, which City of Quincy, he's thinking might be a little more. So City of Quincy is also looking for water as well, so they're considering the same similar process. They're unique, and just because obviously this affects all of you, they're unique because there's constriction points within this West Canal for Quincy, so they can't just pump out of the canal like we're talking about doing. They have some additional lifts that they have to do to be able to get that. However, the added benefit countywide, and why we're before you here, is because this. Let's see if I have it. This would eventually go into Potholes Reservoir. This is just a topography map. But it would go into Potholes Reservoir. This is just a topography map. But it would go into Potholes Reservoir. And there's about a 3-mile radius or distance that we would need to carry water to get past that constriction point for the city of Quincy. So it'd actually be pumping the water that we're putting around that, so just kind of a roundabout way of getting around that constriction point, getting it into the potholes that would then benefit them because we could subvert around their constriction point. So super interesting, exciting part of ancillary benefit for that project. Why this could be indeed countywide. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, where would that pipe be on this big map?
About 2 miles by the Winchester, what's the name of that pump station?
The Homestead Pump Station.
Pump station, which is on this bluff here,
Okay.
actually. So we'd be pumping out somewhere within hydrological continuity from the potholes. And this is all hydrologically.
Okay, so that line, how far was that?
My line is 2.5 miles to the north.
Okay, it is up there farther, okay.
And
I'm
again,
just trying
it's-
to, in my map, see it so I have a visual, okay.
Yeah, so it's about a 200 foot drop though. So it actually can run like a typical raceway and not have to be piped or pumped. So fairly inexpensive in the perspective of getting things done. There's been another idea that's being floated, just so that as you come across these things, you're not, flabbergasted or surprised by it. To put a pipe into the river and pump that pipe to different communities within the county.
Yes, I was supposed to be the one studying that, looking into it. I was told I could halt my search, so I have.
Oh, good. That's great.
They're like hang tight on that one.
Okay, good. So right now, the numbers at my office are talking $1 billion for that project. And that you would have to have, so we're talking about being able to turn this raceway on and off based on need, which might only be 1,000 acre feet, year one. As to where that project, you have to have massive pipes for friction loss to move that much water, and you'd have to design it for the end use because those pipes have to be full and they have to be pumped every mile. There has to be a pumping station. So it starts really getting racked up with costs. So I just caution you on that, just to understand that although the idea in principle might seem fun, I think there's some fiscal responsibility that probably should be kicked in at some point there. But again, these are property owners you see here divided by property owners. The majority of these are foreign nationals. The USA ground is here. And I think this is US
DNR.
Wild, our natural resources, as is this.
Wildlife Department, excuse me. One section's wildlife, the upper one.
Okay.
Literally wildlife. Isn't
Yeah,
that where
Department of
we have the boating and the sand? Kidding.
Oh.
Sand dunes,
Oh,
the wildlife,
So and then
the wild patrons.
we inserted this or kind of put this under a very brief review by Confederated Tribes to make sure that they could at least have purview prior to choosing a route, which I think we've chosen a route based on some feedback from those folks. And I think culturally, this makes a lot of sense. And I'll speak to this because I think it's important to make you, at least as decision makers, aware. Currently, the Crab Creek alternate feed route, which I'm sure you've heard many years of hubbub about, increases the phosphorus to the lake, which when we were talking about those quantities, it's sensitive because we're right on the border of major problems. We want to get that number down, right? So I will turn it over to.
Is that the Crab Creek supplemental feed route that they were talking about?
The pothole supplemental feed route going through Crab Creek.
You have that, okay? You pull it up.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
That adds phosphorus?
That's a concern that the Conservation District staff currently have with that route. So the pothole supplemental feed route is a very important project that's needed to deliver water to South District. And that need comes because of the OGWARP, the Odessa Groundwater Replacement Program, and the increased water that's going down the East Low Canal. So the Bureau identified different alternatives and started to evaluate those. The preferred alternative that they selected was the Crab Creek pothole supplemental feed route. That's the one that has, with their test flows, flooded Senator Warnick's daughter's basement, the airport, Trout Lodge, but it still continued to be their preferred alternative. They've been working on mitigation projects to mitigate for that flooding. And it's still underway. One of the alternatives that they evaluated was the W20. It was not the preferred alternative at the time. And I think for cost, you take a natural channel like Crab Creek, probably costs a lot less to move water down that versus developing out the W20. So just from my opinion or my consideration, I think that there is a concern with just solely utilizing the Crab Creek route and potentially, as flows increase down that, picking up phosphorus and delivering that into Moses Lake and exacerbating the toxic algae blooms there in the lake.
Through a dairy?
No, the dairy's actually been remediated. It's been
There's
acquired.
legacy, you're exactly
Yeah.
right, there's legacy stuff in there. Good
Just in the
point.
watershed,
Yes.
just in the watershed, right? And so, and we know from the test flows that the water going down Crab Creek will pop up in Rocky Ford Arm. That Rocky Ford Arm has the most phosphorus currently going into Moses Lake. So there's that concern with more flows going down Crab Creek, increasing the phosphorus into Moses Lake. Meanwhile, there's this opportunity with W20 to actually bypass Crab Creek, utilize the West Canal and the W20 to put fresh Columbia River water down the canal system directly into the arm that has the most phosphorus, to help dilute the water further. So hopefully we're not only reducing further impacts of Crab Creek, but we're actually improving water quality through dilution with the W20. So I would just think that the Bureau may be, and the irrigation districts, a little excited about the port coming back with this proposal with W20 because it's going to likely provide operational capacity and flexibility for the Columbia Basin Project irrigation needs. So if the port is using it in the shoulder seasons and the irrigators could use it during peak demand, this W20 lateral, that's awesome. That's a win-win, right? And then we get the added benefit of the water quality and the dilution factor. So I think I'm personally very excited about the W20. It not only is providing water supply, but then the water quality benefits and the operational flexibility we need for irrigation and the water delivered to help support the Odessa groundwater replacement program. It hits every single marker for us. Yep, we're still doing our due diligence to look at all of the aspects of the project, but so far.
The nice thing is that, to dovetail on those points, is that this is controlled. So the irrigation districts, obviously controlled water. This is essentially Columbia River flow. This water would go into a raceway, which is lined and controlled. And part of the modeling issue that Crab Creek that we're experiencing, models only can show you so much. They can't show you every fissure, every rock formation, every place that it's going to bubble over. And in fact, the port at the higher ends of those flows experienced a runway being flooded, which is $1 billion organization out there, and it's critical keeping that infrastructure in place. So to dovetail on the point, and I guess maybe to just to talk about those check boxes again, we're talking about generational potable water for the city of Moses Lake, potentially also Quincy, right, which is pretty fantastic to have the double win there. To have the controlled clean water, Banks Lake quality water into Moses Lake, and maybe changing our name from Moses Hole to something more eloquent, I can hope for, is important. I think the property owners, we're talking, if this continues, there's a 17% drop in property values that take place year 3. If this continues in the direction that it's going, I'd like to see that the reverse of that and say, okay, 17% up would be fantastic for the homeowners along the lake. And we deal with a lot of outside things, and Grant County Conservancy District is fantastic with trying to reduce those septic systems. So you were talking earlier about a very similar subject that we struggle with on the lake, which is putting fertilizers and whatnot and septic system waste into the lake. A lot of that's very difficult to control, as you saw by the panel before us. So trying to reduce septic systems is difficult. This would be a pretty darn easy win in comparison to being able to tell a homeowner that, you can't have your lawn. and the impact would be vastly different. So I think there's so many wins here between Quincy, Moses Lake, the port, the water quality, and then Ogworth, I think, is the obvious other beneficiary, which has been looking for relief for some time to get those their project moved forward. So if I could have $25 million, that would be fantastic.
I thought it was $1 billion. for the
No, that's the other one.
Okay, so you're only 25 million?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 50 million.
Well, 50 million is the second siphon, which I don't need, but don't need it. The 25 million is the raceway, which will make this project happen. And the billion is the pipe from Vantage.
Oh, okay.
That's the other guys.
I'm just trying, I'm
All
clarifying.
stakeholders identified, any pushback from any stakeholders?
No, I think the city is being a little cagey in that they want to have a home run presented to them versus, being able to do the groundwork, which I think makes sense. I think the port has been generous and stepping up into this element to kind of move the football along. And so I think it's just a matter of time until we get an MOU with them. It's already been posed, so maybe a month or two more to get a strong MOU with the city.
They're very open. They've got it in their papers listing this project. We're going to present in January
20th.
The full council.
Yep.
Been in touch with Rob, the manager, as well. So, yeah.
So what are you looking for, since we have just a few minutes left, for the county commissioners?
So the port has put $100,000 into this. They would like to put another $250,000 into it. They would like to have matching funds by your group.
Could you use SIP? I would think SIP funds.
What does that guess?
Well, I think we'd be a studied position. What we're really hoping for is that every April there's burrowing owls, right? That's the most ideal time to study burrowing owls. So if we could make that timeline this year, be able to do some environmental studies and cultural review, I think we would be able to kick this project a little bit further down the viability scale. The hydraulics work, we already know that.
Do you know when they did the SIP? That would be a great SIP project.
The congressional discretionary spending through our congressionals, or is that something
No,
different?
Civ is here.
It's a portion of the sales tax. Caitlin or Barb, is Carrie on?
She is not. I can ask her to get on if she can.
Yeah, please.
Hold on just a second.
Curiosity, whose project is it start to finish to do this? Is it all on work property? I'm unfamiliar with.
No, so that line is not.
Project?
That line is not the county, or not the port, it's Port of Afraid actually goes through. But we are putting a cohesive group.
Application?
Huh?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
You should do an application to, I think it goes to the EDC, so we'll ask Carrie as soon as she jumps on when that application, because she's usually the one that we don't always know, but apply.
Carrie's on another phone call and unavailable. As soon as she can, I'll let you know.
I guess
Brand would know.
It's not gonna be a reclamation project, right? It's not gonna be a city project.
They already-
It's gonna be.
So the city would participate with us. That'll be the next ask in January. But we're hoping for a coalition, right? So that's the kind of the next step. We're working on some websites so that this can be not one person's flag, but instead a fantastic active government as a holistic group. So we would like to have everybody participate in that way. I think that the nice thing that the port did, the downstroke, but all things point to possible. As to where I was a little bit, reserved on this, I think that we're going the right direction. I think it can certainly happen, and it doesn't require a huge amount of assets.
Thursday, 10:28 a.m.
We got all the applicants?
All the
Well, I'm trying to get my mail to open up here. Kevin's just super fast at all this for us. Okay, so Brant sent it, or did Carrie?
Carrie sent it on 3/20.
So at that point, when we got the cohesive group together, with the website and everything would be co-released as far as announcements and we would show certainly vigor toward your folks' participation. I think it is a countywide project. I think a huge amount of benefits beyond even what I've mentioned.
Yes, we've got the applications.
you just need somebody with a big checkbook to write your check.
Or multiple medium-sized checkbooks is fine. For now. We did go to Washington DC. We just got back from that on Monday. I would like to, maybe participate with Ms. Rebellia, with you folks on your visit, if possible, just to kind of keep the project before the congressman and 2 senators that we visited with, just to make sure that they understand that we have letters of support and are eager to satisfy these needs of our farmers and our communities. And I think this makes good sense. So there's also a Water Smart project or a grant program that the USBR has to try to leverage as much water that's currently in the system. This would do exactly that. The other benefit too, and I'll just keep going until stopped, but the other benefit is that Quincy Irrigation District, all that shoulder season money that they would be getting, they don't get right now. So any money or dollars that were spent towards the water rights, M&I water, would be money that's put into their system that would make things cheaper for the farmers. So there's actually not just we won't be hurting them, but it'll actually be aiding them with the maintenance costs of their project. So kind of exciting that way too.
What was the tribes?
Carrie is logged on now.
How'd they react to it?
I think favorable. It was a initial blush. It wasn't really a formal submittal, but yeah, they found our offering, I think, unique and again, it's controlled. So as to where we have ancestrally managed waters and where the Confederated Tribes existed, being essentially molested differently. That can be a more sensitive issue than having a controlled set of water and a controlled irrigation ditch all the way into the lake. So, and then the lake itself quantity would be managed so that there would be very little difference in elevation of the lake.
You said you were in DC speaking with, I'm assuming, Newhouse, Cantwell, and Murray. So how much traction did you get with them, or did you let us know when you're further along?
I feel well.
5 minutes with them?
I was the one that was pitching, so I felt like it went really well.
It went
Just
great.
curious what their interest level was. I mean,
It was excellent. In fact, I think I'll give you each one if you got 30 seconds here. Newhouse was excited to leverage the water. I think that makes the most sense, and he sees what's happening in Yakima. So he has a very strong tie to Yakima and things happening there. So I think this makes good sense. To further that, he sent out a correspondence on the 5th about using urban or fortifying urban canals and this sort of thing, which makes me think that we at least kick something around in his head for that. He was talking about also going for $1 million, and we'll know more in July whether we'll be allocated $1 million for the first quarter of 27. For that much money, we're a pretty inexpensive firm. I think we could get to 30% design if we did get that much money. Cantwell, who I think is one of the smartest people on the planet, regardless of your faith, was really excited about it and actually was super generous with her time. Probably gave us 45 minutes, and then Murray listened to our pitch and also was concerned about the tribes, as most of her office is actually decorated with tribal artwork. So she brought up the tribes very quickly, and I think that it just makes sense. So everybody was asking who was the adversary, and I almost had to throw somebody at it because it was concerning that we don't have an adversary yet. That this just makes plain good sense, I think. I guess the adversary will be the $25 million.
Carrie, you are on. I see a report was just sent to us, a recommendation, and I did send you an email just seeing what was in that account. Do you know when they're gonna open that back up again next year for review? They would like to review sooner than later for an SIP application?
For the 3 that I sent you guys today?
Yeah, that coming out of the 113 account, yes.
Yes. Right now with those 3, because they just did that recommendation not very long ago, I think it was last week. But let's see here.
You know what available funds would be?
As of October, the available balance was $2,127,133.
Okay.
Now, with those three applications that I sent you, for Hospital District 6, for the Cooley Medical Center, I got a message from Brant at EDC, and that one's comprehensive plan is in pending status right now. So he was hoping if it was approved by you guys, we could at least approve it for that amount, but keep it in pending status until the comp plan's finished for them.
Yeah, and I do have concerns for housing, that it's not low income, it's not homeless, that there is probably, could be a problem. That's just me. I have reservations spending that money on an apartment complex or housing complex for the hospital. So if they took out, they pretty much would wipe out that whole account then, or would there be 400,000 left?
Yeah, there wouldn't be much.
Okay, and I'm still, again, I'll voice, we had like 450,000 in that account earlier that jumped up to 2 million. So I just want to make sure that we have that money in the account. Otherwise it comes out of.
Yes, because I reviewed that report and it wasn't being done correctly. So no, the report that I have now and the amount that I gave you is the correct amount available.
Thank you so much for doing that, because I think it was showing like 4 million that I just questioned. Okay, so I would reach out to Brad at the EDC.
Okay.
He's kind of the caretaker of the
Sure.
113 account that we call it.
Okay.
See if he would kind of open it back up or an application. He's kind of,
Is that possible? Okay.
well, we kind of have to let,
Can make the choice.
yeah, they're the facilitator
Okay,
of that
great.
fund for us. So we don't get to,
Okay.
it comes to us, we vote on,
Okay.
approve or disapprove after it's been vetted by their committee. So if you could, that's what I would say. I think.
Yeah, you definitely have to reach out to Brant.
Okay, we'll call him on the way back and.
Have you had any more developments with ecology? Or Bureau of Reclamation or anybody?
On this project?
Yeah.
I
Did you
had a-
circle back with, I don't remember his name, but
I s-
after he kind of voiced his concerns.
Mark?
Oh, Mark Maynard,
Yeah.
the Bureau. So I think we've all had a few conversations with Mark.
You took that as I did, which was Mark was pretty cagey, but the people that know him say that was fantastic.
I'm not gonna say he's cagey, but he definitely, if he's not on board or they're not.
He's hesitant.
Hesitant.
He's not gonna he's not gonna commit
Yes.
to something.
100%. And he's been spending the last 15 years of his career on a totally different process, right? So, I mean, he's got commitment that I think if any of us had that same commitment, it would be concerning to him to have something
But I think that would
broached.
be first, I think we can easily help you with the $100,000 ask.
How much?
Isn't that what you said, the 100,000 for the study? Well, I would love to say we have 25 million, but right now we're here
Okay.
7 million over our budget. We've got to trim
I
down.
was hoping for $250,000 so that we'd be matching
Oh,
the board.
250, okay.
Yeah,
well,
is that okay?
250,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
Make it
I've been
three.
Hey!
I've been throwing
Make it
around
four. I'm
numbers
writing that
and
down.
writing down. Okay, so whatever you
Get that
need,
writing real
SIP,
quick. Quick
we
initial.
will. We should have money in that account that we can,
Okay. Is there a value to have letters of support if you're the deciding entity? That's probably too much.
you
Don't need
have-
it.
The EDC, they have representation from the different boards around the county. So the committee.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
But you
Thanks for
can-
your effort so far on this.
Right,
Really appreciate
sorry
it.
about that, trying to chip you guys out of a couple 100,000. Whatever that number is, I've been like making little tiny notes over and
All
I'm
good.
clearly not, many things going on.
Any closing words?
Just thank you.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you guys for coming. It is 4:06 PM. We're going to recess for today.